happy Friday morning to you. It is Glenn Clark Radio. I am Glenn Clark. He's Griffin Bass. Back with us here in studio on a Friday. The Chief Grand Poobah here at Press Box. And the fan Charles.
How are you, Glenn? How are you, Griffin?
He's all right.
Good to see
very
both
well.
of you. Good to see both
Could have used a Rays loss last night. That would have been nice. I would have appreciated that.
We're watching the schedule.
I'm
watching the scoreboard.
This is Stan, as a kid, this was the most exciting part. Like 96, 97. For me, I was 13, 14 years old around then. And I just remember this being the most exciting part about it is when you have a reason. So you play fantasy baseball. You have other. I have no real other attachment to baseball games, right? Like if I got nothing else to do, maybe I'll put another baseball game on.
Right.
The part where it gives me reason to be in lockstep with what else is going on in baseball, I love that part. I am all in for that part. So that was a bummer. Orioles 2 games back as the weekend begins. They host the Pirates for 3 starting night, and a big weekend, obviously, at Camden Yards. Lots of events this weekend in celebration of the 30th anniversary. Speaking of which, Mike Devereaux is going to join us a little bit later on.
Always good to talk to Devo.
Was my childhood favorite baseball player.
Was he really?
Singularly my childhood favorite baseball player. And he's been good. He's good to everybody, but he's been good to me among that over the years. Yeah. So we'll have him back on the program today as he's in town for the 30th anniversary festivities. Also, Jorge Lopez is going to join us this morning. I said this on Twitter already, but we actually recorded this yesterday, and very emotional chat.
Are you going to dub in my question?
Your question, right. Go back, take mine out, and superimpose your voice. Obviously, Jorge Lopez, now a Twin, after he was dealt earlier in the week, and just a really emotional conversation about what Baltimore meant to him. Obviously, everybody knows what his family's been through, and the multiple medical issues that his young son has dealt with in his life, and the very emotional scene up in Boston when his son got to come watch him pitch, and the whole team rallied around him for his birthday and threw him a little impromptu birthday party. I mean, just really special stuff.
Yeah, he's a special kid, Jorge Lopez. I call him a kid. You know, he's been around the block a couple times, but the Orioles took him off the scrap heap and put him in an optimum position to succeed, which was the bullpen.
And some guys don't handle that well. Some guys, the disappointment of not being what you wanted to be as a starting pitcher, it is not easy for you to make that transition. Mentally, you are still struggling with, I have failed. I am not the guy that I was supposed to be, and it just never really works. But boy, did it work for him, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm a big believer, and it's my mantra about pitchers that go into relief. A lot of times, it's they are on edge. The failed starters, they're always on edge about what's going to happen in 4 or 5 days, and all this talk about work between, their mind is working, and there's nothing they can do about it. And suddenly they're back out on the mound, and their head's talking to them about, okay, I'm supposed to do this, this, and this. And all of a sudden they've walked 2 guys, given up a home run. Whereas a relief pitcher just has got to be on all the time.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right.
It's interesting. Felix Bautista, who we said, we got him. He's now given up home runs in 4 straight games.
Let's not talk about that, Stan. Let's not. I would like to pretend that that's not happening and just ride with the fact.
Okay. Oh, we're playing pretenzy.
No, I get it. I'm not worried about Felix Bautista, but I reserve the right to be. I reserve the right to change my mind here in a couple of days. Okay, so a couple things. You and I and Luke Jackson did a different version of One More Thing. So you and I have spent some time, sort of decomposing and breaking down what happened at the deadline. I got so what's our scoring for the contest? There are predictions contest that we did. I got
based
points
on the trades.
I got points for both Mancini and for Lopez.
Yes, and then you said Lyles was going to be traded. He wasn't.
Was I the only one that said Lyles was going to be traded?
I also said Lyles would be traded.
So Stan gets that point.
Yeah.
So
Did I get any other points?
Well, I think those are the only points that we could have had so far.
Yeah,
those are the
so I had Trey not being. Oh no, wait, I'll look it up.
So I think you've got 1 point, Stan's got 1 point, and I've got 2 points. Well, I would just go ahead and take me out to Glory Days now, guys. It's the way that it would go. I would just go ahead and commit to, when we wrap up here.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
We'll wander over. We'll go to
right.
Glory Days Grill. I was there last Friday. Got the opener, the flash fried pork belly with the Korean No. 2 sauce. And as I've said a couple times this week, I literally put my fingers in the bowl and licked them when my friend wasn't looking because it's that good. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website for you to find out more. But we talked a good bit. I told you I was unnerved by Mike Elias's original comments and then eased, I think in part because of the reaction to his comments by him getting on a plane, flying to Dallas, and going and speaking to players and being very bold. The statement that you made when we were talking like, hey, words are good, but action is required. Like, you can't just say you're going to do certain things. You actually have to go do it. Sort of reflects what I've dealt with in talking to Orioles fans, which is there continues to be a percentage of Orioles fans that says, hey, look, I like the things
Yeah,
that
but when's it going to end?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, I feel like that's been the largest group. Like, there's always a group of fans that's going to be on board with anything that you do, no matter what. We'll defend it to our death. The team that we love can do no wrong. And there's always going to be the opposite of that the group of people that say everything you do will forever and always be wrong. But it feels like the most predominant group of Baltimore sports fans is the group that says, hey, look, we think we're on board. We think we like what you've done.
Yeah, we think the skies are getting blue.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
when are they
right.
going to stop painting them?
Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's the biggest response that I've gotten is, okay, when's it going to be our turn?
Yeah.
When is it going to be the moment for us?
Well, you think about it. Brandon Hyde's been managing this baseball team since 2019, right?
Yes.
Have they ever made a trade where they've been able to turn to him and say, hey, we delivered you
here's something. Yeah,
here's
exactly
something
right.
to help you right now.
Yeah.
They've made a couple off-season signings, Jose Iglesias, Freddie Bynum.
Not Freddie Bynum. Freddie Bynum.
Not Freddie Bynum. Who's the shortstop they had that they went to the Phillies?
Oh, God.
You know who I'm talking
I know exactly who you're talking
about.
about.
I don't. Okay. It's
so
amazing
embarrassing.
what happens to your mind.
No, it's also, hang on a second. It's also something about these have not been particularly memorable years.
Yeah, but I brought up the player.
I know exactly who you're thinking of, and I can't remember who it's.
Okay. Anyway.
I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Freddie Galvis.
Freddie Galvis.
Jeez.
I
We
completely
could have
forgot
left
about
it at Bynum.
No doubt.
No, so anyway, there have been these couple acquisitions like that you can say, but they've been off-season. Every trade that they've made has subtracted from what Brandon Hyde had to deal with. It would be nice to hear what you're saying, that Mike told the team that from here on in,
yep,
we're
going the other way.
We're going the other way.
We're adding. We are going to strengthen ourselves
Yep.
moving forward. That's going to be the plan. And again, they got to do it. Like, that's saying it is a good thing, and it also allows for the rest of us to hold them accountable over it. Now you've made a declaration, right? I didn't say. My opinion was that they should have been signing a pitcher at the end of this season and starting to look ahead, but I didn't say they were going to. Now you've made the declaration publicly as the face of the Orioles. You're saying this is what we're going to do moving forward. We're going to sign players. Like, it's on. It's on from here. We're moving into that realm. So now you and I, when we have these conversations in December, we can sit back and say, well, what the hell, right? Like, what's going on? There can be an amount of accountability if they don't do these things. And that, I hope, will not be something that we have to worry about. I hope that it's an honest reflection of what the plans of the organization are, and everyone from top down is on board with this is what they're doing as part of taking the next step as an organization. And by the way, if in the meantime they continue this magical run and they end up being a playoff team this year, bully, right? Like, the win-win at that point. But this, I can only hope, is a true reflection of exactly where they find themselves within the state of this rebuilding thing, that this is when they're announcing publicly it's on, this is what we're doing moving forward.
And by being on, that we're all in, we're not talking about signing another Jordan Lyles.
No,
we're talking about going
right.
that next, maybe not getting
and
Justin
correct, not Garrett
Verlander.
Cole, right? Yeah,
Yeah, but somebody that makes $10 or $11 million and signing them for maybe a 2-year commitment. That says, hey, we really believe in this guy.
We think our window is opening, and we want this guy to be here as part of that window. We think that he's going to help us.
This contract that Jake Odorizzi had. Now, this is an interesting contract. He got a 3-year, $23.5 million contract that also included a $6 million signing bonus. So his average salary during that time is $7.8 million. That's kind of the level you need to shop at the bare basement.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. That's exactly. And by the way, my expectation is that that's what made sense. That before Michael Elias said what he said, if you and I had just been talking, that's what I would have suggested the Orioles do this offseason. Again, not the $300 million guy. I just don't think that's realistic. I'm not opposed to it. Like, if the right guy, I'm not saying you can't do it. It's not my money. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm all for signing those guys. But I think we're setting ourselves up for disappointment if that's what you believe. But I would have said, I get it. Grayson Rodriguez is going to be the biggest story in how significantly correct.
He's healthy next spring, and
And if you can add in a healthy John Means, and whoever stays through this group, Tyler Wells, he comes back and
maybe Dean Kramer.
Well, we got to talk about Dean Kramer in a second because it does not look good of late. He, of course, pitching tonight. But whoever it is, and then DL Hall, of course, that's the story as to whether this really moves into the realm that you expect it to. But you need to fortify it. You need to give yourself a backup plan in case part of this doesn't work. You need to have some, and by the way, it would make sense to let Jordan Lyles come back for another year.
I would love to have Jordan Lyles back as sort of like the third or fourth starter,
100%.
Not being my ace.
No,
so
not correct. And by the way, that's exactly what he is at the moment. There's no doubt. Like, he is their pitcher at the moment.
And he is, frankly, the one guy that could go out. We could say right now, next year, we might not like all the innings, but he's a guy that could go out next year and give you 160, 170 innings. And
count on it.
What that does for your bullpen, having one guy like that, can you imagine if you had two guys like
100%.
that and the bullpen was much more rested and ready to go?
100%. Well, since you brought up Kramer, that was one of the topics I wanted to get to today, Stan. Do you feel like he's maybe starting to pitch for his spot in the rotation tonight? And I know that somebody would say, well, what are your other options? Well, I think we know what the other options are. The other options at this point are Matt Harvey and DL Hall, right? Like, those are the options. And I get that you're not in love with one of them, but we have to talk about it. Matt Harvey's got to pitch for this team at some point. Like, they didn't bring him back to not pitch for this team.
I thought that two weeks ago when I went to his stats, and he had like a 2.92 ERA, and then the other day it's ballooned up in the 4s now. I don't think any longer he is a lock to do it unless there's an injury. In other words, I'd much rather see Spencer Watkins or Dean Kramer pitch right now rather than Matt Harvey. And 2-3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have said that. I thought that Matt Harvey was probably in the best shape he's been in to pitch in the major leagues for a short window, 6 to 8 starts, than he's been in maybe 4 or 5 years. And I thought he was pitching to that form at Norfolk, and now all of a sudden the air's gone out of the balloon a little bit.
Dean Kramer in 5 starts in July, pitching to a 6.94 ERA. And that includes a 5-inning, no-run, 2-hit performance against the Angels on that magical weekend, right? Like, that's despite the fact that he had a really great start in there. He's been woeful. He's been miserable for the month of July.
He's a guy up until this season, what he did starting out this season, he was a guy that I always thought was much more like a Jorge Lopez that would benefit from being, and I wouldn't elevate him like automatically to closer, but could he be a guy that is in the 7th and 8th inning like Dylan Tate and really dominate when he's has to be on. I'm repeating myself. Has to be on every night. Has
Right.
to go to the bullpen
Right.
on edge that he's going to pitch tonight, not worrying about what he's going to do in 4 or 5 days. I've often thought that he was that guy, but I have to admit that his numbers in June were like eye-popping.
They were exceptional. In June, he pitched to a 1.29 ERA in 5 starts. He allowed 4 earned runs total in 28 innings of work in
That's
June.
good stuff.
He was brilliant,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's been miserable in July. And this comes back to the question of, is the bigger issue right now figuring out if Dean Kramer can be a starting pitcher, or is it shuffling the deck chairs to see if you can't? To your point about Matt Harvey, sure, you'd say he is not, but is it just, hey, let's see if somebody else can, let's give
Right.
somebody else a shot
Right.
to see if somebody else can do it, because the wins and losses are actually important and actually matter right now, and right now this guy's not getting the job done for us.
I would, if he does not hold up his end of the bargain tonight, I would certainly be in favor of bringing up Hall or Harvey for his next spot in the rotation, and maybe with both Harvey's ability to go long in a game and Hall's ability, have Kramer ready to piggyback in a relief role.
Sure.
And that gives you a glimpse at how he handles a relief role, albeit a little bit more of a bulk thing, like a 2 2/3, something like that. But I would really love to see, and I have my doubts, though, about in watching his body language, I don't know that Dean Kramer would accept that, eagerly. I think he views himself as a starting pitcher. That's where his ego, his alpha is,
Right.
And I question that. So his long-term fit in this organization is on edge.
To Stan's point about Matt Harvey, last time out was on Wednesday in 5 2/3. He gave up 6 runs on 8 hits and 4 walks.
Right. That's a 12 base runners in 5 2/3 innings
Yeah.
at AAA.
Yeah, that's obviously not good enough. And he finished July. It wasn't great. It was not a great month. I mean, it wasn't. He gave up 10 earned runs over 19 2/3 innings. He had 20 hits and 8 walks, so a 1.42 WHIP and 4.58 ERA.
That's not
over
what
the
I'm
month
looking
of
for
July.
to bring
For
him
somebody
up.
to say, I need you to come up and stabilize things.
Yeah.
The one thing that somebody might, to your point, could he just eat innings? Could he just be a guy like he was last year for all of his struggles?
Yep.
He was a guy that did eat innings for you. Could that be more helpful than letting Kramer get his brains beat in every 5th day?
Yeah.
I don't know that I have the direct answer to that, but I think it's worthy of the conversation. And then with DL Hall, which the conversation with him kind of continues to be what is going.
It's a seesaw, or a roller coaster.
And it was so good for so long, and then we talked last week about the outing where he didn't get out of the first inning, and then he pitched on Tuesday and allowed 5 earned runs on 6 hits and 5 walks over 4 innings. So no, neither of those guys are pitching like guys right now that you would necessarily say you got to have him here. You got to do it.
In the old days, and I'm going back to the Earl Weaver days with George Bamberger as the pitching coach, okay? There was nothing wrong with bringing up one of your top pitching people, your guys that you wanted in the rotation, but bring them up to pitch in relief. Back in the old days, your bullpens
I know you've
were
talked
set
a
up
lot about this with
vastly-
DL Hall.
Yeah, vastly different. I think it's high time that DL Hall. What are you going to do? You're not going to. He's getting his head beat in the last 2 times down at AAA. I'm not saying that's the optimum time to bring him up, but challenge him right now. If he gets clobbered in relief, then you got to go back to the drawing board. But I think it's high time. He's not going to suddenly. If his next 3 outings are 12 or 13 innings, 14 innings, and gives up 1 run, you're not going to say, "Wow, he's finished his apprenticeship in the minor leagues." You're constantly going to be waiting for the shoe to drop.
So is the best plan then to try to wait until Tyler Wells gets back? And then make a move with Dean Kramer and perhaps use Hall to piggyback with Voth when Voth pitches.
I'm a little bit suspicious as to whether we'll see Wells again.
Just
this
because
year.
they were already shaping things up for him to be.
What are you going to, next year that I think the way he pitched this year, if he's healthy next year, I think the Governors are off, and I think you can get 130, 140 innings out of him without being worried that he's going to re-injure the injury from 3 years ago. I think he can do that. Do I think he's ready to jump up to 170 innings next year? No. But I don't think 20 more innings this year or 25 more innings this year are going to put him in that position to make that kind of jump next year. To me, he's right now, he's a damn good 5-inning pitcher. Mm-hmm. And those guys are worth something to you.
They are 100%. Well, once upon a time, Eric Bedard was worth everything to you and was a damn.
And he
good
was a 5-inning pitcher.
He was 1,000% a 5-inning pitcher.
Some guy named Woody Woodward traded Adam Jones, Chris Tillman, and
worked out George
and
Sherrill.
George
Yes,
Sherrill.
100%.
Is there any argument that you want to see Bruce Zimmerman again at some point this season, or
something I'd probably want to see him now. I always forget him.
Yeah.
I'd probably want to see him before I'd see Matt Harvey.
So it's a great point. We just had Bruce on the show the other day. It's a great point to say, hey, these aren't the only two options. Bruce Zimmerman, who again we talk about up and down. There was a stretch in there where he was really struggling once again at AAA, but his last 2 times out, and for some reason one of them was only 2 innings. Yeah. His last 2 times out, 7 innings over to his last 2 starts, no runs, 6 hits, 2 walks.
Was that around the time they brought him up briefly, the 2-inning thing?
He pitched 7 innings on July 3rd. Then they brought him up, and he just did an inning of relief in one of those Angels
games. And that
games.
might have thrown him,
Because I bet it really is his first start back after he came up, he got shelled, and I wonder if they kind of decided after that we're going to ease this.
Yeah.
But for the most part, what you would say is 3 of his last 4 starts have been really good. He hasn't allowed a run in 3 of his last 4 starts. Of course, again, 2 of them were very short.
Yeah.
Sorry. He allowed 3 runs in that one.
I'm kind of a firm believer that Bruce's best position would be in kind of the role that Keegan Aiken has had this year, which is, long relief out of the pen,
But you got to – somebody's got to pitch every
Somebody's got to pitch.
day.
There's no question he could start. And the other guy I keep forgetting is Voth. Yeah. And I got to say, when you talk about a roller coaster, what a roller coaster ride Kyle Bradish's game was Wednesday afternoon. I tweeted
on pace
out,
to throw 6 billion pitches.
I tweeted out, not ready. Remember the expression, not ready for prime time? And then all of a sudden, he pitched 3 terrific innings 100%. In the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning. I mean, he had like 52 innings in pitches. 52 innings.
In the first 2 innings, yes,
correct. It felt like
it
52
did. It
innings.
1,000% felt like it lasted for 52 innings. So, I mean, Bradish and Voth are going to stay in the rotation.
Yep.
The question becomes, if Kramer gets shelled again tonight, do you say to yourself, I go back to the generic question, is it a bigger priority to say we got to ride this out with Kramer to figure out what he is, or is the bigger priority give somebody else, and we can throw Zimmerman's name in there, give somebody else a shot because the wins and losses are what matter the most at this point?
Yeah. I would think by what they did at the trade deadline, they're trying to thread the needle where they don't give up on this season, but the larger issue is finding out more about certain players.
So you think they ride it out with Kramer a little bit longer?
I think either that or Zimmerman or Hall come up.
Okay.
See, I would be bringing Hall up and just making him a relief pitcher right now. You can re-stretch him out next spring. The fact that he's stretched out now doesn't do him much good when he doesn't get past 4 innings anyway.
Correct. And if you're, again, like you acknowledge every time Voth pitches, and maybe we acknowledge every time Bradish pitches, you're going to need more out of your bullpen.
Right.
So to say, hey, look, we want to have somebody else that we think can give us a couple innings out of the bullpen, I think it would be a tough sell to this fan base. I think that's the really, again, goes back to maybe one of the bigger issues. I think it would be very difficult for this fan base for you to say we're bringing up DL Hall and putting him in the bullpen, right? Because everybody's hot and bothered about what this guy is supposed to represent within the
But there has been discussion the last year that his best position in the major leagues might be like an Andrew Miller, a Josh Hader. You know, when Josh Hader was coming up in the Oriole organization, nobody said, hey, he could be a great relief pitcher. You got to sometimes think out of the box a little bit at what somebody's abilities are.
Stan, I completely understand what you're saying. I think the flip side is there's a cost to that, which is the Orioles just don't have a lot of pitching. And right now, it's going to be a really tough sell for you to say the number 2 guy in the entire system is going to be a reliever.
Not if you sell them on the fact that we feel that this guy is like a rook in a chess game, that late in the game he can just come in and do so many.
I hear you, but
things.
you better be acquiring more. Like, you better be serious about acquiring more pitching at that point.
Well, I think
there are not more reinforcements on the way.
I think they are. I think a smart.
Your number 3 pitching prospect just had Tommy John surgery this week.
Do we agree? Do we agree that Mike Elias is a pretty smart baseball guy?
I absolutely think he's very smart, 100%.
I think they, deep down, they know what I'm talking about is probably what D.L. Hall is best suited for in the major
I'm
league.
not even really arguing with that point, Stan. I think I understand exactly what you're saying. I think there's a bigger problem with the lack of pitching on the whole that the Orioles have.
There's no question about
and if you're committing to D.L. Hall in that way, it requires you to be aggressive in going out and getting more pitching.
But they can't do that right this second. We're talking about how they noodle through the next 2 months and thread that needle. I maintain that Brandon Hyde's hand would be a lot stronger now with D.L. Hall being able to come in the 4th or 5th inning of a game and shut the opposition down for 2 2/3 innings.
This is the piggybacking with Austin Voth, piggybacking with Kyle Bradish. Say, hey, we realize these guys, or if you want to put Tyler Wells back in the rotation and say we're
Tyler's
acknowledging
going to pitch 4 innings,
correct,
and then you're going to pitch 3.
Exactly right.
But you also, he's damn good enough, D.L. Hall, that he can do that one night, and then the next night or 2 nights later come in the 8th inning and face Rafael Devers, and pitch to 2 left-handed batters or 3 left-handed batters,
We will see. Obviously, Kramer pitches tonight, and hopefully this is not a conversation we have to have. Hopefully he pitches quite well against a Pirates team that's suddenly far more compelling in the last few weeks with O'Neal Cruz.
Well, I got to tell you about the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1 week ago, they were 0-6. Now, this week, they beat the Milwaukee Brewers 3 straight.
I believe they won on a walk-off wild pitch yesterday.
They looked to be 4 to 6 weeks ago the furthest team along the rebuild line with Detroit, being better than Detroit, being better than Kansas City. But that 0-6 week was
that was a rough week. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I just think they're more compelling now. I think O'Neal Cruz is incredibly compelling, right? Like as a player is concerned. I don't know how close they are to being good, although they're in the right division because the Centrals in baseball are the right divisions to be in right now because nobody's all that good. Not that they're going to break through and do something this year. I'm not suggesting that in any way. But it'll be to me it's a sneaky, compelling series. It's a sneaking, compelling young talent on both teams. Interesting little series this weekend in Baltimore.
Ben Cherington versus Mike Elias.
Very much so. Very much so.
Got a good tidbit about the Pirates, so make sure you stay tuned.
Okay.
I'll save it for the end,
good,
but I got a good tidbit about the Pirates.
Stan, you've had a busy week. You've been doing a lot of shows.
I've been doing a lot of shows. Last night got together with 2 of my favorite people. I call them the smartest in the room type of guys. I know I'm not. Talked to Marty Conway and Andy Dolich about sports business, and we talked about the new patch advertising that's going to start to really crop up with the Red Sox completing a 10-year, $170 million deal to have a patch on that's similar to your 105.7 The Fan. Probably even smaller in total space on the shirt. But Andy really had an interesting way to refer to it. That's what the deal's announced as. But he says it's like an iceberg deal, not a glacier deal. 7/8 of it are beneath the surface.
Okay.
So there's a lot more types of the money is really being spent. They'll get on all the radio broadcasts,
correct.
TV, some signage and all that. But the big thing they're getting, and baseball now wants to advertise that that's for sale and it's going to cost you a premium. The Mets supposedly have a deal in place. They haven't announced it yet, in the $25 million a year range. So we'll see.
Was all covered last night with Andy Dolich and Marty Conway, and of course earlier in the week, you and Ross had the great Tim Kirkchin on.
Yep.
And
we were supposed to have Steve Brunner on. He had a late schedule change. I mean, really late. He just couldn't make it. We're going to reschedule him. He's with KMO Sports, the folks putting on
the Maryland Cycling
Classic, which is really a big deal.
It's I'm reading. Very big deal.
Are you biking in that race?
I am not going to quite make it in the race. Although there was word that there was like an event that anybody could participate in, and I have wanted to get back into ride. I love riding bikes. Like it's one, and my kids are getting to the point where they want to do it. It's just I bitched about this for like 20 minutes on the radio the other day. It's so difficult. People make it so difficult to get into riding, but like I got to go get a rack for my car.
No
I got to it's insane.
Right.
The number of like hoops that you have to jump through if you just want to casually ride bikes.
It's much easier to walk.
100%.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating, but
I'm
excited.
Unless you got a bad foot,
right?
I've had
right
for
in that
2 months.
case. All right, so you can find Stan's shows, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab, or go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stan, when we come back in, one of your other roles, besides here at PressBox, you are involved with the Maryland State Athletics Hall of Fame.
I'm a member of the board.
And I want to talk about the class that you guys announced for induction to the Hall of Fame this year. We will do that next.
All right.
Glenn Clark Radio. Summer is in full swing, and so is the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash-fried pork belly with their popular Korean No. 2 sauce. And try their South Carolina barbecue chicken, or backed by popular demand, the lobster roll with grilled corn. Also try the irresistible crab and lobster fries, or the very berry salad with chicken. And for dessert, the Cracker Jack sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jacks. This menu will be gone. Find out more and get your order in at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Hey, O's fans, get to Oriole Park early on Friday, August 5th at 7:05 when the first 20,000 fans 15 and over will receive a Cedric Mullins 30-30 Club bobblehead presented by Masson. Celebrate Cedric Mullins' historic 2021 season when he became the first player in Orioles history to join the 30-30 Club with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Tickets start as low as $15. What better way to cheer on the Silver Slugger than at the ballpark that forever changed baseball? Buy tickets at Orioles.com/tickets.
Visit Howard County presents the 2022 Major League Quidditch Championship, a Harry Potter-inspired, real-life, full-contact, mixed-gender, 12-team Quidditch tournament happening at Troy Park in Elkridge, August 20th through the 22nd. For tickets and more information, go to visithowardcounty.com. Maryland, be open for it.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. Don't forget that full episodes of the show are available for free on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. But warning, you get what you pay for. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on GCR. So I keep trying to warn you. Football seasons, they played something. Oh, damn it. We missed on the under yesterday.
We did, yeah, but my Raiders
But your
won.
Raiders pick did come through. So if you follow Live Casino and Hotel Maryland on social media, Griffin and I do some videos for them, and We did some videos, and I was confident. What the Raiders were like trying? What the hell is going
I know.
on?
There was the first drive of the game. They gave Josh Jacobs the ball 3 times.
Josh
in
Jacobs
a row.
played. Let me start with that.
Exactly,
Why was Josh Jacobs on the field? It had rained on top of it.
Exactly. That's what it was such. Like I was texting my friends. I was like, I can't believe they're playing this. Like they play on this field one time a year.
Right.
It's delayed because of rain, and they're going to play through the rain now. It's just they were
And
asking
they
were
put
like
a
3 or
football
4
player on the
There were
field.
3 or 4 injury timeouts in the first quarter. It's just
What a nightmare.
It is not. I mean, I agree. It's not a good idea. I'm not gonna not be excited about it because it is football.
Griffin,
But it's not a good idea.
Stan, Griffin has a problem.
What, with the Hall of Fame
No,
game?
like he really gets into preseason football. Like he's very excited about it. We had an extra pair of tickets for the Ravens game next week, and he is like, hell yeah, man, I'm in. Like,
I want to go see those.
Did you see?
Fourth
Did you see my tweet
stringer.
last night that me and my friend we picked between 20 fringe Ravens that may or may not make the team, and we both picked 10 guys that we're going to root for really hard.
You have a problem, man. You have a problem.
It's
Are there
just-
stakes too? Because actually,
do we have a sponsor that is therapy?
right. We should look into. That's a great point, Stan. We should look into that.
Get Griffin some help.
So we did, because it was what was going on. We offered some betting advice for the Hall of Fame game, and of course, the under had hit in like
Right,
every
7,
Hall of Fame game. And
What was
then
the score last night? It was
27-11, I want to say. Was
and
the
who
score.
who were the teams? I know the Raiders. won.
Jacksonville and the Raiders.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Who won?
The Raiders won, and so that was Griffin's. Griffin's drop-in was that the Raiders were 3-0 all-time in Hall of Fame games. So you should bet the Raiders to cover.
The Jags were 0-1, so now they're 0-2.
So that did hit. If you played that, it hit. But if you played the under, womp womp. That's sad. Anyway,
I should get in my lose ball pool that I'm running this
have
year.
just go ahead. Take my money now. Just take it. That's the way it's going to go.
Right.
The point is, if you want to bet football this season, you're just not going to be able to do it on your phone. At least not to start. Maybe at some point, but it ain't going to be here that quickly. So instead, make your plans to watch Ravens games, Thursday night games, Sunday night games, Monday night games in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Because not only do they have the 61 self-service kiosks for you to get all your bets in, but we keep trying to tell you, they're going to have individual bet pads for you to take with you to your table, to your reclining chair, to wherever it is that you're going to be watching the games. So you literally do not even have to stand up in order to make your bets during football season at Live Casino and Hotel's FanDuel Sportsbook. You couldn't ask for anything more than this. They're saying no mobile betting, no problem. We'll create mobile betting ourselves when you're here in the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Can you go to the FanDuel website? Because we had an assignment.
Yes,
this
we
month
did.
To write some prop bets and things of that nature.
And yes, I did pick the Commanders to win the Super Bowl.
Can
You're
you can you bet those same props out at Live?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So I could go bet
every now and then.
Yeah.
There is a specific like parlay or boost or something like that they offer.
No, but I
on-
mean the ones like Coach of the Year.
Yes.
Can I make that bet?
I'll give one of mine away. All right, one of mine. I'm not going to tell you.
give one of mine away.
One of mine, and you'll read about it in the new print issue of Press Box.
Yep.
That'll be available in a little bit less than 2 weeks.
The 15th or 16th
Yeah, so 10
of,
days.
of
10
August.
days, yeah. You will read that I like Sky Moore of the Kansas City Chiefs to be Rookie of the Year at 12-1.
Okay.
12-1 odds. He could immediately become Patrick Mahomes' top receiving threat. I love Sky Moore at 12-1 as Rookie of the Year. You can 100% go right now to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, walk right up to one of those 61 self-service kiosks, and get your Sky Moore 12-1 Rookie of the Year ticket right now.
I am going to give away one of mine. I'm a big believer that the Carolina Panthers have. I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl or anything like that. I'm of the opinion that they got one of the most motivated players that I can ever remember
in
Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
And I'm picking him to win the comeback player of the year.
Oh,
award.
bold. What are the odds on that?
That's what I'm looking up.
Oh,
What I
okay.
sent Luke, I can't remember.
right.
I got it. You bet 100. Bet 100. So you can judge.
I'm not going to make $100 bet.
No, if you want to bet
$10,
$10, you'd win $100.
So it's 10-1 is what
He's
you're saying.
10 to
It's
1,
10 to 1 odds.
basically.
10 to 1 odds on Baker
I think
Mayfield.
he's a tremendous.
I understand the thought entirely. I completely understand the thought, and he has. It's one of the things I've talked about. He's got some real players around him, like that.
And he's got an organization that at least I know that they have had trouble with this position for the last 3 or 4 years. The Panthers, since they first let go of what's his name, the kid from Auburn.
Oh, Cam Newton. Yes.
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Ever since Newton left, they've struggled at the quarterback position for the most part.
No question.
I think Baker Mayfield takes that out of the equation. I think they're going to have good, solid quarterback play, and I just think he's really motivated to literally stick it up the Browns.
I get it.
You know what?
I get it. We will offer those picks,
And we have to play them this year.
That's true.
Carolina
That is
Panthers.
true. Stan, one of them is going to join us here in about 4 minutes, but there's a new class of Maryland State. Make sure I have it's the Maryland State Athletics Hall of Fame, correct?
Yep, the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame.
You are a member of their board.
Yep.
You're involved
Yes,
in the
I am.
process.
Yes, I am.
And you guys announced a new class this week.
Yep, we sure did.
Mhm.
On August the 2nd at 10 o'clock, when it was up against my yearly physical that I'd had booked for 2 months. So
The disrespect.
The total diss.
Yeah.
They announced that former Maryland great and almost like the Jackie Robinson of the
true
University
pioneer,
of Maryland,
trailblazer.
first African-American to play for the University of Maryland, Darrell Hill, who's also a board member. So that was a little awkward. Nobody wanted to say anything bad about him. But, of course,
incredibly
there's not a lot to
deserving,
say
yes.
bad about Darrell
Right.
Hill. Fred McNair, great tennis player,
Yep.
and especially doubles player.
Won a Grand Slam, did he not? Didn't he as a double
I think he
player? I
won
wanna
a
say
couple.
He won a French.
I think he won a couple.
Okay, I'll double check. Check.
Dave Cottle is going in as actually a player, not a coach.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, he didn't play lacrosse, I think, until he was like a senior or something like
We're
that.
going to find out in 3
high
minutes.
school.
Dave's going to join us in about 3 minutes. So
Dave is going to be
yes,
the
we'll
guy.
We'll get
Okay.
that answer.
And he played at Salisbury, and we can find out if he knows Steve Bisciotti. Did they go to school together?
I don't actually know the answer to that.
I think Bisciotti actually helped him get the Maryland job. I think Bisciotti was a big donor, and they were looking around to
talk about-
place
we'll talk
Dick
about that.
Adele.
We'll talk about
I'm
that.
pretty sure. Marty West, a golfer,
Mm-hmm.
is going in, and posthumously Leon Day is going in. And, of course, Carl Runk is the winner of the Stedman Award winner.
Towson icon.
Yep, Towson icon. Great football coach and lacrosse
Yes.
coach. And Gary Williams is winning the first ever Coach's Legacy Award. So it's a good class, and I don't have the date in front of me of the event.
I will pull
It's
that
in
up.
October. I think it's the 22nd of October, I think.
That hang on. I'll tell you in 2 seconds,
Okay.
Stan.
2 shakes
It
of a dog's
is-
tail.
well, I said that. Now, 13th.
13th.
October 13th
October
is the date at Martin's West.
I hope people didn't pencil in the 22nd.
Just for people that don't know, the process, who you guys discuss, who's eligible.
Yep.
Is it supposed to be you played here professionally or in college or in high school?
Well, it used to be that you had to have really a tie to the state. In other words, you were either born here or you moved here for a long period of time. But that changed about 5 to 7 years ago when we got Brady Anderson came in it, whose career was in Baltimore. It allowed for, I think, Johnny Unitas to go into the thing,
Was the thought that somebody that chose to live here after they moved here professionally, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that goes into the
But
thought
now,
process.
if your career was here, your sports career was here, like Brady Anderson,
that qualifies
That qualifies you.
Well, that opens up.
That opens up
boy,
a lot of.
you guys are going to have your work cut out for you in the coming
It's
years.
a fascinating. I'm not going to go into how the sausage is made,
Right.
But it's a very interesting. We start out with about 40 or 50 names each year. Everybody brings in, all the board members bring in 6 or 7 people that we think are worthy.
Was one of this group somebody that you were particularly fighting for or campaigning for?
To be honest with you, no.
Okay.
They were not. But I did feel strongly that Dave Cottle should go in as a player.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Why the?
I think Dave was a real good coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the totality of his career as a college coach warranted State Hall of Fame
That's
to
interesting.
me.
That's interesting.
You know, but he was some player at Salisbury.
Well, he's a hell of a
led
player
the nation
for sure.
in scoring.
There's no doubt. It's an interesting line of demarcation. That's just an interesting thought process that you had.
Also, you get into trouble. You don't want to have three winners of the John Stedman Award. So really, you carve out one whose total body of work gets him in, and that was Carl Runk this year.
Okay.
You know.
So the class will be inducted on October 13th. The website is mdsahof.com if you want to find out more about the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame. And joining us right now is one of the members of this year's class of the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame. He was a former broadcast partner of mine. In fact, Stan, I can now say I've worked games with both him and his son because I was helping out my friends at Archbishop Spalding this year, and I worked with Sean on a game, so that was kind of neat. But Dave Cottle, of course, is with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn and Stan the Fan. Always great to hear your voice, my friend. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, I appreciate both of you guys. You've been great.
Let's see if we can't get that straightened out.
Hello.
My apologies.
All
we will see if we can't get that fixed. As unfortunately, we can't. It's not going to work if we can't hear him. And I did all that too. I put in all that effort for the
build-up was
right?
tremendous,
and then gone. Just
I think he
gone.
was speechless. To be honest,
Might be what it was. Might be what it was. We'll try one more time. Coach, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right,
there he is.
Great, Coach. How are you, my friend?
I'm glad to be here, and I hope both of you guys are doing well.
Doing great, Coach. Maryland State Athletics Hall of Fame. You were. I don't know if it's even something you had thought about before now. When you get that phone call, what does it mean to you?
Well, first of all, I thought it was a mistake because they said it was athletes, and when I told my son that Len Bias and I are going into the same athletic class, he goes, "No, right?"
Oh, you were very similar in your greatness.
Well, as I like to say, I was a great white leaper, and Lenny was a great leaper, and but no, I have. Lenny Bias just divorced everybody around him, and it was quite honestly, I was pleasantly surprised, and I enjoyed my high school years at Northern, and but it was something you never think about.
Dave, you were a late bloomer as a lacrosse player, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I didn't start playing till 11th grade.
Right, and had you watched the game and been a fan of the game? What all of a sudden in 11th grade made you say, "Hey, I'm going to go out for the lacrosse team"?
Well, we had guys in our neighborhood, Mike Perella, Buzzy Driscoll, guys that played. They take us out there when we had on the field and play and have nothing to do. But it was a business decision for me. I wanted to be the starting quarterback of the football team. Lon Russ was the coach of the football team and the lacrosse team. He says, "You want to be the starter? You come play lacrosse." I played baseball in 10th grade. I was a lacrosse player in 11th.
Interesting. Did the fact that we voted you in as a player, not as a coach, does that bother you, or does it make you sort of more proud of what you accomplished, which was kind of phenomenal at Salisbury?
Well, it does. Anytime you win an award, it never bothers you. I just honestly, I was just, to be in the category when you look at some of the people that won the award, and as a guy, I just looked at it. Ooh, that's a tough neighborhood to live in, but I'm very proud to be in it, and I'm actually looking forward to it.
He is Dave Cottle, and again, he will be part of this year's class of the Maryland State Athletics Hall of Fame induction coming up on October 13th. A 3-time All-American during his career at Salisbury. Coach, is again what you took as a player coming in late, could you have envisioned lacrosse being your life at that point, right? Like if I had gone back and talked to Dave Cottle in the 1970s, and I had said, hey, by the way, this is going to be everything for the rest of your life that you're going to do is going to surround this sport, would you have believed that at the time?
Heck no. I could see myself being a basketball football coach. I knew right away I had such a mentor in Lon Russ and all the guys.
All right, I apologize, Coach. We're having some issues with your phone again. I don't know what's going on with technology. Let's see if we can't get that straightened away, just because I don't want to miss anything that Coach is saying, and I apologize for that. Yeah, 3-time All-American. Just the second.
Led the nation in scoring.
Over 100 points, 100%. Over 100 points. He led the nation in scoring as a freshman when he arrived at Salisbury, and of course we know how good Salisbury's teams have been basically forever. And from there, Dave went on to become a very high-level coach, and of course Loyola and Maryland most famously at the college level. And
then coached the pros, the Chesapeake Bayhawks, for a number of years until that league.
100%. And still involved as a consultant and runs an events group, and just still very
involved,
very active in the sport of lacrosse to this day. And as I mentioned, did broadcasts for us at Loyola for years as well, and just sort of a beloved figure within the sport that has impacted so many people. Led Loyola to a national championship game, led Maryland, unfortunately never to a title, but multiple national championship games. Dave Cottle is back with us, I believe. Coach, I was saying, let's try this one more time. If I told you back then that this was the sport that you were going to be with for the rest of your life, what would you have said to me?
No way. Basketball and football. I was going to be a basketball and football coach and phys ed instructor. That was my goal.
And when did you know? When did it hit you? When did you say?
At the 100th point, the first time he scored 100 points.
We had a great leader at Salisbury named Mike McGlinchey, who taught a lot of different sports. He tried to get me to come out and play football, but he was just, a great leader. And I met some great people at Salisbury. And so it's kind of, once I got to Salisbury, going from Northern High to Salisbury at that time, I don't think I'd ever been to Ocean City when I was an 18-year-old. We just never went there. So going to Salisbury is like going to California for me. And so once I got down there, I was kind of stuck. I didn't have a car. I couldn't come back home. And and so I kind of had to submerge myself into something, and I submerged myself into lacrosse.
Coach, did you rub elbows with Steve Bisciotti at Salisbury?
Well, Stephen was a little younger. He came in at the end, and then Michael, his brother, was one of our friends who kind of we played basketball with and all kind of different sports with. But Michael, yes, Stephen, he was the younger brother a little later then.
But he probably heard tell of your exploits on a lacrosse field.
Well, Stephen, yeah. I mean, I'm not acting like we didn't see Stephen and know Stephen and he's friends of our friends. But, yeah, he was the younger brother of our friends.
Gotcha.
I'm liking to imagine an idea where you guys were picking on Steve Bisciotti all the time, and one day he was like, how do you like me now?
Thank God that didn't happen.
I like that. I like that a lot. Coach, let's catch everybody up. What are you up to? Stan and I were just talking about you continue to this day to be involved, obviously, in the sport of lacrosse and on the events side, doing things like that. What's going on in Dave Cottle's world?
Yeah, it's funny. Monday, I just got surgery, and I'm using this to plead for any dumb answer that comes out of my mouth. I just had L5 S1 spinal fusion surgery on Monday, and so that's going to knock me off for a little bit, for a couple of weeks, but I'm working for LSG and 5-Star. We got a new app, a highlight app, and we're running events. And MIA lacrosse is one of our bigger events, and we're going to do hopefully MIA football and basketball, and we're going to be doing a bunch of different high school sporting events.
I'm going to give you one tip. I'm a cervical fusion survivor. Find a physical therapist you like and trust, and work with one of them.
Okay.
All right, that's my one tip on that, because it can be. I understand the lumbar can be very tough, to come back from.
I'm hoping I never.
Yeah, I just got the staples out and I'm walking, so
That's great.
the first week has worked out okay.
Great to hear that.
So I got to tell you, I got to work with Sean last spring, and you warned me to watch my wallet, and he was quite offended by that. He said, "The heck? What the heck's this guy's problem, huh?" I don't know how I feel about that. My wallet was okay when I was hanging around with Sean. He was doing
okay.
Yeah, he's doing a hell of a. By the way, not a bad. With Phipps over there and him over there, not a bad thing they've got going on over at Spalding, right?
Boy, it's really been fun to watch. They've really grown that program and really done a good job. Tom Ripley and Brian Spencer Ford, all those guys are working hard. And in our county, we're very fortunate. Victor Lilly and his group works extremely hard. And then Severn's group works extremely hard. So it's really, they've kind of been in an arms race, and they're kind of making everybody better in Anne Arundel County.
It was incredible to see. The atmosphere for those games was amazing for sure.
Coach, I went out to see the PLL about 3-4 weeks ago here in Baltimore. Your thoughts on what professional lacrosse is morphing into right now? Do you think that's the right way to go?
Yeah, the bottom line is I think eventually they'll get to franchises because but they've just got to get more people buying tickets. And and I will say this, they're doing everything they can right, promotion, social media, everything like that. This is the first group that's done everything right.
Yeah.
And if they can do everything right and sell tickets, then professional lacrosse is here to stay rather than here to when the rich guys get tired of funding it.
Now, if every city they went to supported it the way it was the night we went out, it's really quite an endeavor. But I understand some of the other cities, it's not being responded to as well. I personally agree with you. I think you need the franchises. I don't think enough people, it matters whether it's a snake or a
cannons,
whippet,
the archers,
archers. Yeah. I think you do need that geographical identity.
Yeah, I don't know how many successful leagues have done it without having a franchise.
Yep. That's a difficult thing. No doubt.
But the quality of play is great.
Yep.
The players are great.
Yep.
Hey, Coach.
And they're doing a good job.
Coach, it's not often you get somebody on to congratulate them on being in the Hall of Fame, and then they're asked a question about the guy who succeeded them at a job as prestigious as the University of Maryland.
Please do.
I wanted to know what your thoughts were about John Tillman getting the job and what he's done to this point. It's pretty remarkable.
First of all, John is an incredible guy. When John took that job, there was two ways. They say in life, the guy who follows you, the two biggest assholes in life are the guy whose job you took and the guy whose job you took. I'm going to tell you this. John Tillman, for the day he took the job, he called me. He asked me some of the things before he hired, what are the things you need to get it done? And I told him. And John went in there, and he was in a good negotiating position and got a lot of the things that could really upgrade the program. But on top of that, John's ability to, I don't think I've seen, since they've been there, I don't think I've seen Maryland play nervous once.
Wow.
And the only time I saw him play nervous was this last championship game because they had dominated the regular season.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get it over.
Yeah.
But this team has played at such a high level with such great coaches. And he's a great guy. He helped my son get into college. I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about him. And quite honestly, the success of Maryland, I think anybody who was ever at Maryland is proud of, and I know that every time they win, it means a lot to me.
That's really
great.
Cool.
That's great.
That's really cool. And I echo those sentiments about John, who is truly a remarkable human being. There's no question about that. A shame they don't have a good coach at Loyola, though. Dave. Just real shame they've had to slum it over there. That's the real tough part.
That guy. What's funny is I talked to Charlie yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I just you go through in that Patriot League where all of a sudden you have a great class and then maybe you don't have one, and when I look at them when they won the title the one year, I can remember doing one of the games, And I walked out on the field. They were playing Duke, and he goes, "What do you think?" I said, "It looks like two ACC teams out here, big and strong and athletic. Josh Hawkins and J.P. Dalton. I don't see that right now. Because those guys they got in before the Patriot League, they can't get in now. So they've got to find a way to win, and they always do. Charlie always figures it out.
Yep.
But they got to find a way to get back and find some really, really good players. Because right now, Pat Spencer carried them for a while. The two young guys carried them for a while. They just need to keep getting better players.
No doubt about it. And, of course, I am kidding. Charlie is one of the most remarkable, not only, again, another great person, another hell of a coach. Dave Cottle.
He's the perfect fit for Loyola.
Oh, yeah. He's wonderful. I mean, I can't say enough. In fact, I just made his brother my dentist because I love the guy so much. So that's how it goes.
Well, at least you didn't make Charlie your dentist.
Yeah, that would have been a bad choice. That would have been a really bad choice. Coach, so happy for you.
Congratulations, Coach
Major
Cottle.
Congratulations. Miss you. I missed working the games with you. Always appreciate how good you've been to me over the years. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Thank you, guys, and have a great day.
All right.
Dave Cottle, part of the class. Yeah, you know what? It's fun. We were listing the names. We didn't even mention Len Bias when we were listing the names.
I'd forgotten.
Who's the headliner, obviously, of the class.
Yep.
Let's talk about that for a second before Mike Devereaux joins us. This was something that, similarly, the University of Maryland Athletics Hall of Fame did not immediately induct Len Bias. It took a few years.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is family concerns that, when they're sort of ready for it, And, of course, in the case with the University of Maryland, there were still some hard feelings for a long while, but really happy that we were able to cast our vote for Len Bias.
So this was a time where the Bias family said, "Hey, we would like to come be a part of it." And of course, Dr. Lonise is one of the most remarkable human beings. I mean, she's an amazing woman,
human being,
amazing woman.
Yeah.
They were on board and they wanted to do this now, and they're going to be a part of this on. Love that. Love everything about that.
Again, I don't always have the stuff in front of me where you buy tickets, but it's October the 13th, and I believe it's at Martin's West.
It is at Martin's West, yes, for sure.
And it's the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame. And I'm sure you'll probably have another guest or two on.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I appreciate the mission of what everybody's doing over there. MDSAHOF.com. MDSAHOF.com. If you want to be out there for the induction ceremony, recognizing Len Bias and Dave Cottle and Leon
Day, Marty West, Fred McNair, Darrell Hill, Carl Runk, and Gary Williams.
Absolutely. That is quite
big evening.
By the way, if you're a Maryland fan, there couldn't be Gary Williams and Len Bias. Seems a pretty significant combination for Maryland basketball fans. Then add in Darrell Hill and Dave Cottle and everybody. It's a remarkable group. Again, MDSAHOF.com is the website for you to be out there in October 13th at Martin's West for the induction ceremony. Into hour number 2 of today's program. Stan the Fan Charles is with us in studio here on Glenn Clark Radio. This weekend, the Orioles are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and they've invited back some of the folks that helped leave some lasting memories at Camden Yards, celebrating moments. And this man made a few catches over the years that rank very much up there among the great moments in Camden Yards history. As you all know, he was my singular favorite baseball player as a kid, to the point where I made my mother one year go out and purchase a blank jersey and sew his name on the back of it so I could be Mike Devereaux for Halloween. Mike Devereaux is with us once again here on GCR. Devo, it's Glenn Clark, Stan the Fan Charles. What's going on, man?
How you doing, man? Good, man. You're too kind. You
know what it means to me.
Devo is in the house.
Stan, one night.
That's right.
One night, Andrew Steck messages. He just sends me a text. He's like, "Dude, I need you to hop on this Zoom call right now during the pandemic." I'm like, "What the hell? And of course, as soon as I pull it up, I realize the reason is because Mike Devereaux is on this Zoom call. I'm like, "Well, this is how I'm spending my evening now, hanging out with the great Mike Devereaux." Hey, man, think back with me. 30 years, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. What were your initial, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about Oriole Park at Camden Yards?
Well, I remember when we were leaving, going to spring training, we left from here that year, and the lockers weren't in the clubhouse, just bare in there, and I was like, how in the world are they going to get this finished in 6 weeks? And I just honestly didn't think they were going to finish. And after 6 weeks, we got in like 2:30 in the morning, whatever it was, and I remember walking down the runway, and Brady Anderson and I came out in the dugout. There's that left side bank of lights were the only lights that were on, and I looked at Brady, or I called him Barley. I go, Barley, look at this. I brought a tear to my eye. I was just absolutely amazed at what I'd seen, not knowing the impact that it was going to have on all of baseball. It was just absolutely incredible.
When did you realize, like what you just said there, when did you realize this place really did change the entirety of the sport?
I don't even know. All I know is that I was in Baltimore. The fans were there every single day. And that opening day when I saw fans up on the buildings and looking down, I was just living a life, I love playing in front of people. The more the better. And they sold out every single day. And knowing that I was going to come to the ballpark and that was going to be the atmosphere, I enjoyed it. And then I started hearing about, actually Kaminsky was the year before.
Right.
The new Kaminsky.
Right.
And how Baltimore was totally different than Kaminsky, and they kept dogging Kaminsky, and just hyping this park, and definitely well deserved.
We're talking with Mike Devereaux. It's the 30th anniversary. The club is celebrating at a luncheon today and some events at the ballpark tonight and tomorrow night. What's it mean to get together? I know they're not bringing in everybody, but what does it mean to get together with some of the guys like Hoyles and Sutcliffe and the like?
Oh, it's incredible because, when I realized I was coming here, the first thing I did was to check the list of guys that are coming. They're going to be here because we experienced something that nobody does. I mean, we're a family here, and to play with these guys and be in the clubhouse and the things that we have gone through in the game of baseball and the memories that we've had, just brings back everything. No matter how long it's been since we've seen each other, once we make that initial contact again, like days like today, it's always incredible.
All right, let's talk about, the moment. Let's talk about the one that you're being most significantly recognized, because they are listing the great moments in Camden Yards history. It's the catch against Joe Carter, obviously, from June of '92. And my parents probably hated you for it because I attempted to find random things around my house that I could replicate your, high jump-esque leap in order to make this catch. You made a lot of great catches during your career, Mike, but this one in particular, the way you contorted your body to get up over that wall, did you know immediately, holy crap, I just did something people are never going to forget about?
No, I did not. And it's great. I mean, I know Sutcliffe was pitching, and I told my son, when I found out that Sutcliffe was going to be here, I go, this is the guy who's pitching because he watches that play all the time. And no, I had no idea. I knew that I had to get up. We practiced it all the time. Sammy Snyder, who's the bullpen catcher at the time, he had always hit balls during infield that were over the fence, and Brady and Bentley, we'd always practice catching those balls, and we always loved having the opportunity to catch those. And that opportunity came, and it turned out great. And it's cool. It ended up on the program of '93 opening day, and I show it to my son all the time, and it's pretty cool to have something like that in the memories of baseball.
I saw you posting about your son on Facebook the other day. He's playing baseball. Has he attempted to replicate and recreate Dad's catch?
Yes, he is a absolute stud, and I made sure that I emphasized how important defense is in the game of baseball. And he loves playing defense. He loves to dive, but I say only dive when you need to dive. Don't just dive to dive. And he loves it. He loves making great plays. He's a great hitter also.
How old is your son now, and what is his first name, Michael?
His first name is Michael also.
Okay.
And he's just turned 11.
All
so
right.
he's left-handed, and he also is a pitcher.
You maybe put in a word with Mike Elias this weekend while you're back. Like, hey, man, got somebody you might want to take a look at here. Got somebody you might want to have on your radar in the coming years. Boy, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Devo,
hits for power both ways.
Devo, tell me about opening day that year. Sutcliffe on the mound. What was that like? The energy in that clubhouse, in the dugout, and on the field.
Well, it couldn't have been a better day. First of all, weather-wise, I mean, the sun was shining. It was just great out, and the crowd was just the excitement. What Good Morning America was here. All the news affiliates were here, and now this is opening day for the best park in the game, and to come out on that field was incredible, and for Sutcliffe to throw a complete game, which you don't even see nowadays.
Yep.
is one of the best parts about it. For him to come out and do what he did, and us to show the fans, okay, thank you. This is what we have for you, and to come out, the outcome of the game was perfect.
Devo, can you get past a weekend like this without thinking and looking up to the man above and think of Johnny Oates?
Right, no doubt about it. I mean, Johnny was a significant part of my career, and no doubt about it. I mean, he is an incredible manager. So, I miss him. I wish he was a part of a lot of the festivities that we've had going on at this park.
Mike, I gotta, there is irony as we're wrapping up. Mike Devereaux, he's back in town celebrating 30th anniversary of Camden Yards with the Orioles this weekend. The irony of celebrating this particular catch is it literally happened like at the exact place where things have kind of changed in Baltimore a little bit. And I'd have to do the math as to whether or not this catch would have even been possible today at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. I'm sure you've seen the alterations to left field. It has definitely helped the Orioles pitching-wise. It took quite a few home runs away from Trey Mancini. And I had a few people that I talked to that said, you know what I really miss is Mike Devereaux being able to go up and rob a home run, which now in left field specifically is not possible. It's part of the game that's now gone because of the height of the wall. What do you make of the alterations they've made, and is it kind of a bummer that the thought that play is now going to be gone forever in left field at Camden Yards?
Anything for the pitchers, right? I'm just joking. But anyway, I'm actually in the warehouse right now looking at the fence, and you know what? It is sad. It's very, very sad because I honestly believe that the best defensive play in the game of baseball is stealing a home run.
Yeah.
So when you take that away from a stadium, from the fans, I think that's a sad thing. Where you just have to sit there and watch the ball go over. I mean, it takes the heart away from another team. It hypes your team. It hypes your pitcher. And now when you take that away, there you go. Why take one of the best plays in the history of all of baseball away, defensive plays that is, out of the game? I don't get it. That's where I am. Still love Camden Yards.
Still love it, and the reason they did it is clearly they think they'll be able to attract some free agent pitchers here that won't see their ERAs
balloon.
climbing.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Devereaux.
Guys, really,
I know you got to run. You're right there in the middle of the. Thank you.
Thank you for taking some time out.
Appreciate
Devo.
you,
thank you,
my friend.
guys. Stan Van Griffin, thank you, guys.
Mike Devereaux checking in with us here on GCR. Stan, I really did. I had a few. I brought on a bunch of people. To talk about the wall and all that, and that was the one. Even the people that said, "Hey, look, I get it. I do understand." I just feel like we're going to miss this play. I feel like you shouldn't be doing more things to take the most exciting play in baseball away.
Yep.
You want to move the wall back? Fine, move the wall back. Leave it at a normal height so that the option is still there for a play to be made. I get why that's...
I can see that.
I get why that's impossible given the fact that you were taking seats out and,
Yep.
The math just doesn't work here for that to be something that can exist, but I understood the argument for saying you are eliminating the most exciting play that exists within the sport And everybody remembers, these catches forever. Why would you do that?
No question about it. But you are instilling one other exciting play back into the game, which is the triple.
Sure.
Sure.
That
we've seen a couple of them this year.
We have not yet seen anything disastrous. We haven't seen, somebody run into the weird jut in the wall. I still hope
that will happen.
I still hope they fix that somehow. That continues to be a priority for them, because I'll continue to say I think that should not exist. No matter how many ballparks where you say, well, yeah, but it exists. I don't care.
It
shouldn't exist there either.
Yeah.
That is comical. That is Little League. It should be a ballpark. It shouldn't be a miniature golf course. I think we should all be capable of saying that. And I'm not trying to take too many shots, because I did. I said I understood what they were doing.
Yep.
And so far, so good. This pitching staff has been far better than it had any right to be. And it might have at least a little bit to do with the fact that they made the changes that they made. Of course, Trey Mancini would say,
not so much.
Hurt me in the process.
Yeah.
Hurt me in the process. As he, of course, hit a home run in his first at-bat to the Crawford
and then
boxes.
didn't play yesterday.
So did they? Who else did they acquire? That the Astros fans were like, "Why the hell are we trading for players if none of them are going to play?"
Right.
I'm trying to think of who else they acquired.
They acquired Vasquez.
That's exactly
right.
who else.
Yeah.
That's exactly who it was.
He probably had a pitching matchup that Maldonado,
Or was it a day game yesterday? Was it a day game?
Yeah, it was.
Well, it was a day game on Wednesday for sure. It wasn't a day game yesterday. It was a night game,
It was
right?
a night
Last
game
night,
yesterday.
and a day game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answers. That's, of course, their problem and not our problem to figure out when Trey Mancini is going to be in the lineup. Stan the Fan is here. Today's show also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Make the most out of every day in a Toyota RAV4.
I drove a Toyota. I drive a Toyota, I
Currently.
drive one.
Is it a RAV4?
It's a Prius.
Oh, okay. That's
Prius Prime.
a lovely vehicle. Yeah. I'm a fan of it. I actually genuinely am a fan
Those
of Prius.
electrical vehicles, one other bonus you can get, if you can get when it's offered, you get a tax rebate for buying a
Plus, I hear the gas prices are great. Well,
they've gone down about 80 cents now. Back under $4.
You got to start somewhere. Make the most out of every day in a Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. Yep. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to chat with Jorge Lopez. You referenced before the show, obviously, some wretched news yesterday. And, again, not surprising. We kind of knew this was coming in relation to Brittany Griner, who was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. The hope is that this was the last step in now getting this prisoner swap done in order to bring her back to the United States.
Here's the deal. It's we're watching a process here. Unfortunately, the process most likely is not going to be like 2 weeks and then she's going to be free. She's probably going to be in that prison for a year to year and a half.
They want to make it. They want to make their statement. Yeah. They want.
Bold has the guy that the Russians want back. Really bad criminal.
Yes.
Has already done like 11 years.
Yep.
So of a 25-year sentence. So I don't think they're viewing it like. I don't think Putin's saying, "Well, I got to have him out tomorrow." It's okay. He can sit. Let her sit. So unfortunately, I'm not expecting this to play out in the next 2-3
everything
weeks.
about it is so
it's horrible.
Horrible. Everything about it is absolutely horrible. It was painful to watch. I watched a little bit of the Zoom that they did with some of the other Mercury players last night, and it was painful to watch like Skylar Diggins Smith talk about this is real trauma for us. This is not like we are thinking about this every day.
This is not like a knee injury that she's got to come back from.
We are horrified. We are frightened. We are terrified and scared for what's happening to our friend right now in a place where they clearly, hate us. I can only imagine the pain and the difficulty of something like that. The other kind of big news story yesterday is that the NFL selected who is going to hear Deshaun Watson's appeal, and
former Attorney General in
the state of New Jersey. So it won't be Roger Goodell making the final decision. I would be at least a little bit surprised if he didn't have a feel for how this person might feel or rule to make sure that it's going to be a suspension that's longer than 6 games. Of course, I don't know that by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't know.
The NFL continues to want it to be for the entirety of the 2022 season and the playoffs, and then we'll deal with it after that.
I think there's something to making it a suspension in a crime like this. And again, this is not murder, but it's sexual harassment. To let a guy just have 6 games and then we just wipe our hands clean.
Yep.
I'd want to know that the guy shows a period of true remorse and understanding what he's done for longer than 6 games. I'd say a full season with the commissioner then having, by keeping it indefinite, by having the ability to say, hey, you're getting 6 games for the second year because you screwed up again.
I will make a comparison here, and this is a very difficult, I don't, nothing about this is apples to apples, right? And it's tough for me. I'm very involved, I think everybody knows, with Show Your Soft Side, and it's an incredible animal charity in this area, and what they do with Barks to try to get more animals adopted is really amazing, and a lot of athletes are involved with it, and I was the MC for Project Runway this year, and it's an incredible group. And there are a lot of people within that group that will never forgive Michael Vick. Like, they'll never be okay with the fact that Michael Vick gets to be on TV and Michael Vick got to play again in the NFL. And there are people that I love, that I work, that'll say, I'll never. The comparison that I would make, alluding to what you're talking about, is Michael Vick, to his credit, showed true remorse. Showed truly, I was brought up a certain way. I did not understand what I was doing. I am willing to go to great lengths to learn about why this is wrong, to try to help you all, to do everything in my power to try to gain your trust. Now, whether you choose to forgive Michael Vick, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I don't care. You're right. You have the right to feel however you want to feel about Michael Vick, but to the point, he clearly went above and beyond and out of his way to attempt to
change.
Correct.
To change his behavior.
Your point about Deshaun Watson, and it was brought up, the statement the Browns released this week, where like, well, he's showed clear remorse, where everyone has gone through every statement that he has made, every ounce of this case, and said, no, he hasn't.
Right.
In no ways. He continues to be defiant as hell that he did nothing wrong, that it's insane. Like, what are you saying? I'm
watching some of the video of the Alex Jones trial.
God.
And the judge says, Mr. Jones, this is not your show. Correct. You can't just say things here.
Right. I mean,
the truth matters.
The prosecutor saying, do you know what perjury is? I'm with you. Like, it absolutely feels like there needs to be. You would have thought a year away from the NFL already might have been enough for him to figure out, like, dude, you gotta be a different person.
And there needs to be a firmer commitment that part of his penalty is some type of therapy and treatment, and maybe community service in the area that he...
perhaps simply not going to masseuses any longer is not nearly enough. And I think the other part of it, Stan, that's important to me, and I can't remember who we were talking about with this the other day, the idea of just falling back on precedent. The comparison I made is, imagine if the first person that ever got was ever convicted of a murder was given 1 day in jail. And then for the rest of eternity, everybody just said, well, that's the precedent. Sorry, all we can ever do is 1 day in jail for every murder that ever happened. At some point, as a society, as right-thinking people, we have to acknowledge this precedent does not make sense for what it is that we're dealing with. And for this initial judge to say, well, look, the problem is the precedent. Look at Ben Roethlisberger. Look at all. We can't suddenly just say, well, now we're going to suspend this guy for a year when there have been similar cases and they have not gotten those penalties. Well, in hindsight, it's easy for all of us to say they effed up on the Roethlisberger thing too. Like, we've got to be able to say as right-thinking individuals that precedent can't just exist forever because the penalty is wrong. And so that, to me, is almost a bigger stakes than just the Deshaun Watson thing here, is that the NFL has to be able to say to everyone else moving forward, no, there are going to be severe penalties for this. We cannot continue to allow this to just be
just like a skate.
Exactly right.
And the Cleveland Browns, frankly, should keep their mouths totally shut. They have no say in this. They claim that we really did our homework on the player.
Nonsense.
Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not the world's biggest Baker Mayfield fan. I think he was a jackass when he did the thing with the coach, his head coach. He made fun of him after he gotten fired.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh
yes.
Jackson.
Yeah,
I thought he was a real jackass, making fun of him when he scored a touchdown. But I have to say, the way the Browns treated Baker Mayfield was disgraceful.
Okay.
It really was disgraceful.
Look, for as much
it's
as
going to make me some money,
right? Because you're betting on him as comeback player of the year.
Baker Mayfield is comeback player of the year.
Go.
I'm counting that money, baby.
Right. All right,
$10 for 100, 100 for 1,000.
Go ahead and start. And that's good because you're going to owe me that bet over at Glory Days Grill, so you could spend it on me over there, getting me some of that South Carolina barbecue chicken. As I'm up 2-1 right now.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The next bet was DL Hall when he makes his debut, and so Stan picked July something.
Ooh, boy.
And then your day was today, Glenn.
Oh no! Oh no! What was your date?
Mine was August 18th.
Oh,
so in 2 weeks.
So hang on a second. But you'll officially be closest. What's the difference between the 5th and the 18th? What's the middle date there? That would be the 12th, I guess.
Yeah.
So officially on August 12th, you win.
So 1
that.
week from today,
you get closest to the pin on August 12th.
All right.
So this is an important week for me. Oh man, I feel bad.
Huge week.
I'm sorry, Dean Kramer. I kind of need you to stink tonight. Great guy. Appreciate everything. I just kind of need you to stink in order to get that point. All right, when we come back in, a guy who didn't stink this year, Jorge Lopez, spent an emotional 20 minutes chatting with Jorge Lopez, and we're going to get that to you next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The biggest pro wrestling stars today and all time all have one thing in common. You've heard them on Jobbing Out.
Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
The great Kurt Angle.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
The champ, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The great Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Keith Lee.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Bill Goldberg.
My pleasure.
Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mick Foley is with us.
This is the greatest name for a wrestling show I've ever heard.
MJF.
I'm glad you're happy I'm on this show because I'm freaking miserable.
Le
champion.
Chris Jericho.
Le champion.
AJ, Aaron, Brandon, and Glenn are talking pro wrestling every week on Jobbing Out. Find it at PressBoxOnline.com/radio, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now, and it's our very first Salute to Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sorovsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes who whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
To follow the show on Instagram, it's just Glenn Clark Radio. And to follow the show on OnlyFans, wait, I don't think you're supposed to know about that one. Any hoodle. Take it away, boys.
Stan, you were just talking off the air about the fact, as you heard in that commercial break, us reminding everybody about the Salute to Coaches issue of PressBox. We are less than 2 weeks away from the next print issue of PressBox. Do you want to give anything away about the new print issue?
Larger than life.
Larger than life
is the cover.
Well, that could be about anything. That could be about.
It's about.
I believe that was also the theme for you and I's month in the Boys of Hamden calendar.
That's
I believe
right.
is what they.
Oh God, we got that coming.
We
up.
do have to do that. We do have to. We do
photo.
have to do that.
We've got Mark Andrews on the cover. Ravens tight end Bo Smolka doing a deep dive into talking about what kind of person he is and his playing career, and he's the man.
Well deserved. Mark Andrews has risen to being a absolute superstar.
Yeah.
And we kind of like to, when we do these, when you get to August, obviously your cover is likely to be a Ravens cover because it's what's going to be on the stands as the season gets underway. And we've attempted to kind of identify the player that has risen to that level that's broken through. We did it with Marlon Humphrey. And now Mark Andrews has clearly stated that he is a superstar within this league.
Yeah.
So
we hope we don't do to him.
It wasn't.
We did to Marlon.
Well,
Humphrey.
I'm still not. I don't think Marlon Humphrey's done. I want to make that abundantly
he's
clear.
not
He just
done.
kind of had
He's
a
not
little bit
done.
of a down
Yep.
year, just a little bit of a down year. So yes, hopefully there is no curse involved with Mark Andrews, but that will be hitting newsstands not next week, but the following week. Our new print issue of PressBox with Mark Andrews on the cover. So you can look forward to that being at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Before we listen to this conversation with Jorge Lopez, just give me your thumbnail about his story and his time here in Baltimore.
Well, it's a remarkable story. You had a guy here who clearly didn't have amazing confidence. You can tell watching him that he was frustrated with why his stuff didn't play. And I thought for most of the time here, Glenn, and I was pretty vocal about it, he's got good stuff. He's in the wrong position. And it was interesting because at the end of last year, we all thought that Tyler Wells was going to play Jonathan Papelbon and be a converted reliever, a starter to reliever, and Jorge Lopez would just be jettisoned. Well, necessity is the mother of invention, and they came up with the idea of using him as their closer, and it worked, and he's going to make a lot of money now.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
All right, as I told you guys, we had to do this because of his schedule and sort of getting situated now.
You just didn't want me to talk to him.
That's really what it was. Yeah. I said, boy, that Stan might scare him off.
Yeah.
And admittedly, Jorge speaks really wonderful English, but of course there's an accent there, and but it's going to come through. I promise you. We really enjoyed this chat. Jorge Lopez right here on GCR. Well, it's really a pleasure to be joined by our next guest. I don't love that we have to describe him as a former Oriole, but other than that, it's really a pleasure for him to take the time for us. He's now a Minnesota Twin, and what a special ride it has been for him and us getting to know him and getting to know his family. He is a truly special individual. He's Jorge Lopez, and he's with us now here on GCR. Jorge, it's Glenn. It's so great to chat with you. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Jorge, can you put into words, just describe what this week has been like for you, your family? I can only imagine the range of emotions that you have felt.
Yeah, you just said a lot of emotions. The good part is like being close to my family and stay together with them. Even last couple of years, it's been hard to get this opportunity. But man, like you say, what a journey! What a lot of memories I have with that group of guys, and it feels like really, really impact my life and to me and to my family, and I bet to them also as an inspiration. We are as a family, so just so thankful, for all these bands going. It's something. It kind of took a surprise when we were when I was an Orioles. It was a good way, and like you say, it was a good ride to where they were playing like really good. And you don't expect those decisions, but God has a purpose, and I know Mike Elias and his group of staff are doing an amazing job during all these years. So I'm just blessed to be here with now a new team, new chapter, to where these guys are, excellent. And I had a lot to put myself to, a lot of Latin guys like Correa, Miranda, and being close to these guys, and it's something you don't see it on your future when I was there. So now being here is just another blessing.
Boy, it's powerful to hear you talk about that, Jorge. If we can go back for a second, did you know at all that this might be coming? Did you have any, did anybody say to you, like, look, hey, man, we just want to be straight up with you, there's a possibility? Or did this completely catch you off guard on Tuesday?
Yeah, absolutely. I was sleeping that day, and, it's a lot of expectation where it was a lot of talk going, and you start everything with Trey, and when I see Trey gone, it just you can expect everything,
Sure, right.
Where he's the leader, he's the inspiration to us, and that's the guy who teach so much to us and this game. So I was just locking in onto the game, as a player. You just try to go there, don't distract to those comments, and just go to your business. So, but yeah, next day it was me, and it took me a little surprise, and because this guy's been doing so much for me and for my family. So, and still healthy, and all these things going so well. So it's little, on where little sad, where you just don't want to leave, but at the same time, we understand this is a real business.
I completely get what you're saying. Jorge Lopez with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Jorge, can you describe what the Orioles and what Baltimore have meant to you, not just in your baseball life, obviously, this magical season you're having right now, but in your life as a whole? How do you describe what this community and this team have meant to you?
I think I got one word. It's just growing. Growing as a player, growing as a father, growing as a teammate, growing of a lot of things. You even with the young guys, when they get to the team, you can feel the energy, the mentality of we want to play hard, we want to get better, we want to listen and learn about this game. And when I get there, you get as a player, like it happened a little bit here when you get Trey and you get to know new team, you kind of shy, you don't have to, you don't have a lot to talk, just listen. And I did, and that's something I learned so much of, of this game. Just not only them, it was a group of effort where it came from the physical, mental point. So it's something you really thankful for it to everyone of the effort they put to to the clubhouse and to the game.
Oh, by the way, I'm starting to get emotional thinking about the next question I'm going to ask, because I'm telling you, Jorge, I'm a father. I've got 2 little boys. I got a 7-year-old. I got a 5-year-old, and I've been very fortunate that they have not gone through a lot of health issues in their life. But that night in Boston, man, even when I think about it, I start to get emotional. I start to tear up a little bit thinking about how special that was. Can you describe what it meant to you for your teammates here to embrace your son the way that they did and to lift him up with you, knowing he got to come watch you pitch?
Yeah, man, that's something going to be forever in our mind. And, just so thankful for the little details, and just that little things. That's why players became much better and became so good on this game.
Wow.
And which they took this little part of the game, just knowing this game is more than this sport. It's a family. They see the inspiration Mikael had from not only from us as a parent, if not as how much he loved the game. Even I didn't teach him; he just watching me and watching everybody. I could not be on the field, but he would love to be watching everybody in the field. So it's something, like you say, it tears a lot of emotions. You get really, really sensitive about, how life could be and how life you have to, as long you can love it and do it the right way, to teach him how important is our commitment to the kids, to the fans, and to the family.
Oh, brother, I am. I'm telling you, I got chills right now going through my body. That was such a special thing. Jorge Lopez with us here on GCR. Jorge, how did this happen this year, man? Like, big picture. Now that you've been doing it for long enough to know that it ain't a fluke. Like, you're really good at this at the back end of a bullpen. Some guys struggle to make this jump, and some guys deal with the disappointment of things not working as a starter, and they can't emotionally or mentally handle that. Why were you able to so seamlessly make this change and handle the high leverage of these situations, particularly as the games got more and more important this season?
Absolutely. I think since the first day I became pro, it's something you never, you're so thankful to just get draft, get the opportunity, and get through the minor league system and get to that trade, get to new experience, and like you say, just embarrass of what's going on, and don't take everything as a negative. Just take that positive side of something is for purpose. And I mean, I feel like I've been doing a really good job on getting my mentality, even when have a lot of up and downs. It's been a roller coaster, but just having patience with the process and try to remember those little things, little details from everyone who wants to me help. And when I get to the Orioles, I feel it connect everything, where I find myself as one of the elite closer. And I mean, just being grateful of what's going on. And I know a lot of people notice, like, you don't have to give like, details, like, life is not only money, you know. It's not only about that. You know, you can buy the strength of the words of, you know, the coach who tell you how the things can be or how the things could be changed, or just listen every single moment and watching and see what's going on this big league time. And still, you know, you get to the new team and it's something different, the way they go and the way they handle things. So you just keep learning about it. And I think I'm really open since the first day I became pro. And I think that's what it gave me a little stronger on my mentality.
Sure.
Which my family has been huge for me, where I got a lot of support outside of the field. And that thing, when you put it together, you just know yourself and just keep executing things and try to be better and every single day.
I guess it would be easy to say, given what you've been through as a father, there's nothing that baseball can present you that would be tougher than that, right? Like,
that's right.
You know,
that's right.
It's incredible perspective when you think about it that way. What was there one person within this organization, was you know, whether Chris Holt, I don't know who it might be, was there somebody that was particularly helpful for you as you made the transition, that made it easier for you? Was there someone that gave you good advice or that you leaned on a little bit?
Yeah, man. I mean, I give it the credit to everybody. You know, it's such a great thing just to get the organization, try to listen every single part where you can learn. I don't want to say one specific person, because every single person on that clubhouse helped me to improve where I'm at right now.
Wow.
And we worked so hard since the first day, and they know that, because I mean, Mike gave me the opportunity to be part of the team.
Sure.
Brando gave me the part of the being as a starter again and being a closer and have that transition. Hold me, and Chris helped me on little details on my speeches. And, you know, the strength coach helped me on the part of take care of my body. Even the medical staff helped me to improve myself as a mentality. That every single one, the video the advanced the video cameras, like the guy who worked for teaching on how to never forget how to study. You know, never waste that time of you can do things better when you listen and you open your eyes, you open your ears, and just being that sponge. And now it's just about me to get there and keep competing.
I just want a minute or two here more with Jorge Lopez. I want to run two names by you, and you just mentioned one of them, so I'll go there first. What do people need to know about Brandon Hyde, Jorge? Like, he's someone that's so wildly still unknown to the bigger baseball world, because, you know, the Orioles, it's been a struggle the last couple of seasons. But how important has he been for this group of guys coming together and accomplishing what you guys had accomplished, you know, before you moved on to the Twins?
It's huge, man. You can see it. I mean, he is a great, you know, father, great family, and it teaches us a lot. You know, even we have a lot of struggle last year. And one thing I really learned about, just have patience. Just have patience. Just go to your business every single day. And, you know, the last thing you can do is give it the 200% on the field. So he just want us to be so committed to the communication, to be on the same page where everybody was. And, there is, man, I mean, it's one of the healthiest teams. He's one of the greatest comeback team where we were almost last of the division, and now they just going to their way. And it's really important to have that person where it's so much strong mentality than when you put yourself to listen to us and to what is gonna be good and what is not could be happen. That's the guy who we listen, So he got a lot of good things to this game, and I mean, he got a friend forever here.
That's awesome. And then my last one for you, the guy that replaces you, the guy that moves into your role, and you were one of the best stories in baseball all season, but I don't know, there's an argument that Felix Bautista might be an even better story. His rise from single A year ago to now being this guy. What did you learn about Felix, and what impresses you most about him as he makes this jump?
Man, what a big man. He's such a man. He's a really inspiration, man. This guy is not scared. He was there and just feeling like he was his 15th year on the big league, man. And this guy just keep learning. He was really open, and one thing he never changed. He just keep improving, and this guy is gonna be really good for a long time. Even don't say him, it's the whole bullpen. CL, Tate, Aiken, all these guys. So which are really good. Brian, Baker, and I mean that group of guys is gonna be really good. Stick together for a long time.
We are going to miss you badly, dude. I just want to say this: we truly enjoyed watching you play baseball, but you are even more remarkable to me as a father and as a man, my friend.
Thank you.
And we will miss that here. We're telling you that we'll root for you. You'll understand that when we get to the playoffs and it's the Orioles and Twins, we won't necessarily be rooting for you then. All right? Like I hope you understand that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's quite understandable.
I understand. Jorge Lopez, we can't thank you enough for taking the time for us this morning, and we wish you so well. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished, man, and best of luck in Minnesota. All right.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
Jorge Lopez, great stuff. Really powerful stuff, him talking about his time in Baltimore. Obviously, everybody knows about his son, Michael, and his health issues. And really incredible to hear. Not just where he is now, how it is he can reflect on life and how things have changed for him, and just a lot of powerful stuff there.
It's just great to see somebody that nice get over that hurdle and have confidence in themselves.
So glad you said that.
Yeah, it's because it's a good thing, and he is a good man.
There's no question.
Yeah.
He is a remarkable. When you see somebody as a father, and look, I admit I am very soft now. Being a father myself has really changed the way that I view things. But, man, when you see that in somebody else, I can't imagine the difficulty of the fear that you go through when your kid is dealing with Crohn's disease, when your kid is dealing – I can't fathom. I have been so incredibly fortunate with my two sons. They've had very few – we got to get my 5-year-old's tonsils taken out. And it's probably the most significant thing that either one of them have been through to this point in their life. I can't fathom. It would be overwhelming to me. It would be difficult for me to come in and do my job on a day-to-day basis. For him to be able to compartmentalize being a father, taking care of his kid, doing special things for his kid, as he goes through everything, and then to make this transition, kind of relearn everything and have the success that he's had. It's remarkable.
Great story.
Plainly remarkable.
Great story, and we wish him well in Minneapolis.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back in, we'll get a tidbit. We'll get Tubular. Stan the Fan's been hanging out with us this morning, and he prepared a musical number for you.
I did?
Right? Didn't we talk about
I did?
Didn't we talk about the musical?
Next week.
Oh, that's
the week I'm not here.
We'll come back in and put the finishing touches on a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Visit Howard County presents the 2022 Major League Quidditch Championship, a Harry Potter-inspired, real-life, full-contact, mixed-gender, 12-team Quidditch tournament happening at Troy Park in Elkridge, August 20th through the 22nd. For tickets and more information, go to visithowardcounty.com. Maryland, be open for it.
Hey Birdland, join in on the fun and celebrate the 30th anniversary of Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Saturday, August 6th, as the O's take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at 5:05. The first 15,000 fans 15 and over will receive a 30th anniversary Oriole Park t-shirt. Then stay post-game for the Birdland Summer Music Series presented by Miller Lite I Love the 90s concert, featuring Drew Hill with a special performance by Cisco and Smash Mouth. Tickets start as low as $15 at Orioles.com/tickets.
Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Summer is in full swing, and so is the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash fried pork belly with their popular Korean No. 2 sauce, and try their South Carolina barbecue chicken, or back by popular demand, the lobster roll with grilled corn. Also try the irresistible crab and lobster fries, or the very berry salad with chicken. And for dessert, the Cracker Jack sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jacks. This menu will be gone. Find out more and get your order in at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
to young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall.
We've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
and every debut.
You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports. It's statistically proven that the show sounds better if you're not wearing pants. Like me. Right now. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
Stan the Fan with us as we wind down for a Friday edition of GCR. Don't forget, every Tuesday morning, Simply the Bets is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. 11:40 a.m. is when you can watch and listen to the program, and every other Thursday morning we got weekend bookies for you as we try to win you some money. We do our best to win you some money.
It is also where you can cash your Griffin's gratuitous grouping tickets.
How'd you
after each weekend? Yeah, first leg
so
hit.
how the CFL?
Yeah,
the CFL last night was what?
Winnipeg Blue Bombers covered the five and a half.
So what's next up?
Tonight we got Anthony Pettis.
Right,
over
in
Stevie Ray.
Professional fighters or whatever that
PFL,
thing is called.
Professional Fighters.
All right, so
I was sweating for three quarters. It was a close game. It was 14-14, and then Blue Bombers scored 21 unanswered in the fourth.
And how much did you put on it? How much did you?
I just put a small amount since after the last one didn't hit.
Well, I thought you were going to show a little faith.
I do have faith. I bet it.
Okay.
Griffin seems like he's probably won $1 million. He's very quiet, you know.
We talked about this, by the way, Stan.
Yeah.
Because this played into Would You Rather Wednesday the other day.
Yeah.
If you had hit the $1 billion jackpot last week.
How do you know for a fact
that this is, and what you're saying is what I'm telling people, you'll never know. You will never know. Because I don't want anybody to know. I don't want anybody in my life to know that I suddenly have an extraordinary amount of wealth.
Right.
So the scenario I presented was like you find somebody, you offer to pay them 30%, and they go, they say, I was the winner, and you're giving them a good chunk of money. But it's $1 billion that we're talking about. You're still keeping a good chunk of money.
So they'd have to pay the taxes.
Well, I think we'd split the I think we'd split the taxes. So essentially, it ends up being like $500 million. By the way, think we'll survive. Think we'll be able to get by on that number. And I'm giving up 30% of it. Again, think I'll be able to be okay with whatever that is, $320 million or something like that ultimately comes my way. I'll live off of that for no one to ever know. I'll just come into work the next day. I might pay for a few more drinks. I might pay for a few more things. I'll definitely give a little bit more money to charities.
You give something to me?
Yes, but not a lot. What I'm saying is,
buy press box from us?
Honestly, I probably would. But you know what? You know what it would be? Yeah. I would invest. It wouldn't be that I would buy it because I don't think I want that responsibility either, Stan. Right. I don't think I do. I think I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. But I would probably try to find a way to have there be like an angel investor, someone who invested a bit more money for us to get the neon signs in here that we've been looking for us to be able to throw the big block party.
Better chair
better chairs. 100. I would think I would do that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I you know what I really fear is that you would. I've had so many thoughts about this. I don't know why. It's never gonna happen, but I've thought about it a billion times. I feel like you would say, I'm just gonna try to write like a $50,000 check to everybody that I care about, right? Like, just here's the deal. I won the lottery. I'm writing all of you a $50,000 check. Well, $50,000 isn't gonna last everyone for forever. And at the end of it, that person that you cared about is still gonna say they know you're wealthy, and that $50,000 ain't gonna get them that far. So I don't want them to know. I just don't ever want them to know. I'll do small things to try to take care of people the way that I can, but.
Remember the story about what Dean Smith did in his will?
Yes.
He sent like $100 gift card
to every former player.
Every former player to go have a dinner. And
100%. Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's a
very
cool idea. I do actually like that a lot too.
I would do like a $5.
But then you'd have to wait till I die, Stan. And I'm not trying to say anything out of turn. I just feel like probably you're going to win that race. Like if I had to guess,
that's true.
You're probably going to win that.
Hey, I've said the same thing to 90-year-olds, Glenn.
I don't. You know what? I need to thank Mrs. Charles, and I need to thank the Rifkin family because there was a really amazing donation that was made this week. For my friends,
a lot of clothes, right?
A lot of clothes for our friends at the Helping Up mission. It's going to go an incredibly long way. And Jane, Mrs. Charles, has been very involved. Once she found out how I was involved with the Helping Up mission, she's become co-captain. I mean, she has been unwavering in her efforts to get more and to do more and to embrace what they're doing and trying to lift people up and get them clothes to go back to work and things along those lines. And so I'm truly grateful for that.
Do you know anything about Scott Rifkin's dad, Arnold?
So I actually ended up reading.
Did you read the
I ended
stuff
up
about
reading Franz
remarkable
Rasmussen's obituary in the Baltimore Sun, and what a life!
Invented the mobile unit that is now standard operating procedure at any TV station around from Harrisburg, PA.
He was a
New
cameraman
York.
himself.
Yep, and built a mock-up of the first ever, and then Jay-Z went with it and built it, and then people just stole the idea.
And he had served, correct, as well in the military?
Yeah, served in the military, and then had some type of accident at work that cost him about 70 or 80% of his hearing.
Okay.
And he ended up at the age, I'm talking about like the age of 55 to 60, went to France and studied cooking. because he'd always been, and he actually helped open up Linwood's. He was one of the chefs,
which is
at
a
Linwood's.
remarkable place.
I mean, this guy was a world-class chef after losing a good chunk of his hearing. Just an absolutely remarkable guy. His sons, of course, he's got 3 of them, but I only know Alan and Scott.
Yep.
Both remarkable as well.
And I was overwhelmed by the decision that Mrs. Rifkin and the family made to donate all of his clothes to the Helping Up mission. So I'm going to be down there Sunday morning, taking them with me, and I can't. It makes me emotional.
Yeah.
And it's something that
it's good that they're going to a good.
We've had some listeners over the years who have said the same thing. Hey, my father just passed away. My buddy Chris Erich said my father just passed away. I got to come back home. I got to clean out. Would you come meet me? And I said absolutely, and I mean that. I will come meet you. I will help you clean. I know these are terribly difficult moments, but the good that it does for someone is overwhelming.
You just said you'll come and help clean
the clothes.
I'm
not going to come. No, that ain't happening. That's going to have to be a problem for somebody else. Sorry, man, not going to happen. All right. Anything that we didn't get to today that you want to cover? Anything?
Just my baseball power rankings. It'll be interesting. Every Monday they come out. I work on them very hard during the week, and especially Saturday, Sunday, sort of piecing the puzzle together. I had going into this week, I had the Padres as number 7 behind Milwaukee. Since then, they've picked up Josh Hader and
Juan Soto. I've heard of, and Josh Bell. Yes,
and Josh Bell and
Brandon Drury. Yeah, but Joe Musgrove might stink. Yeah. I don't know what makes sense of that. Yeah. Here's $100 million. Now he can't pitch. Like, it's a really weird bit. This is a big weekend, obviously. Are they playing 5 because they had to get a makeup in there?
Mets and Atlanta are playing 5.
I know they're playing.
Padres just played 5 against Colorado.
That's what it was. They played 5, and they won 4 of the 5 because they lost yesterday.
Right.
So they're playing a normal series.
They
this
play
weekend
the
against
Dodgers
the Dodgers
this weekend and next weekend, I believe.
I think
and
so.
I believe it's the Sunday night game. I'll tell you in 2 seconds when we do Tubular if it's the Sunday night game or not. All right, tidbit. Brought to you today by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. It is the place to be to watch and bet on all of the major sporting events, including just the daily baseball slate. But I keep telling you, football's right around the corner. Think about how great your fantasy draft would be if you guys are all hanging out on Labor Day Saturday watching those Week 1 college football games like Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Georgia, Oregon, and Florida, Utah. It's a big weekend of college football, and you can be in there betting on all of those games, winning money as you do your fantasy draft with that huge 100-foot media wall in front of you, great food from Sports and Social. I cannot think of a better way, but you got to.
Food there really
it's
is
excellent.
Extraordinary.
Excellent. You got to reserve your spot. Events at sportssocialmd.com. Events at sportssocialmd.com, because it's going to be a popular weekend. They had a crowd last night for fake football. For real football, it's going to be massive. So reserve your spot. Events at sportssocialmd.com.
All right, here we go. I got a couple here. So since 2004, there have been 12 teams to hit 7+ home runs in a game. Before the Angels did it again yesterday against the Oakland Athletics.
7 solo home runs and an 8-7 loss to the Athletics, including 2 from Shohei Ohtani. One of which was on a ball that was 2 feet inside, and somehow he turned around and powered it out. I mean, it's just nuts.
So those 12 teams were 10-2 before the Angels lost. Became the third team to lose since 2004, hitting 7 bombs. The Angels suck. Does Shohei Ohtani hold out at some point, or stop playing, or refuse to pitch at least, save his arm?
No.
No?
They're paying him a lot of money, man.
Yeah, but they suck.
I understand, but he's getting paid. You get paid to do a job.
Yeah, but how many pitches do you think?
I'm starting to worry about Griffin.
How many innings does that arm have? How many innings does that arm have? You think?
I don't know. We'll find out.
All right. Anyway, so that happened, and then also this one I like a lot. Since 2020,
I think the better way to ask your question is at some point the Angels say, "Hey, look, we're not doing anything this year. You don't need to pitch every 5th day." Right. That's the better way to say that, is for the team to responsibly make the decision to say.
Yeah, well, they're not.
Save some of those bullets.
Correct.
Yeah, well, they're not. That's why.
Well, I mean, but you don't do that on August 5th. You do
they're
that
out of it.
I understand. You do that as you get closer to September. That's when you make a decision like that.
Okay. Next one I have here, since 2020.
It's very personal for you for some reason. It's very odd. You're very aggressive.
We need Ohtani in Baltimore.
I don't think that's going to occur.
Since 2020, German Marquez has started for the Rockies on a Friday 10 times. Can you guess the record in those 10 starts?
Guessing because you asked it, it's 9-1.
It is 10-0.
Well,
10-0. They have not lost.
Well, I would get over to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland.
He's pitching today.
Yes, he is. He is pitching
Who's he
today.
pitching against?
He is pitching against Madison Bumgarner and the Diamondbacks tonight in Arizona, and they're going to be underdogs for only the third time in a Marquez Friday start since 2020. And in all 10 of those wins, they have won by an average of 5 runs a game as well.
Okay. I don't know what to make of it.
I just saw that, and I was like, I have to share this.
I'm with you. I would go bet it.
You know, that brings up a very interesting point. I used to, when I started betting on games, I used to bet baseball back when I was like 18, 19 years old. And, you know, the due theory, like, hey, they've lost 7 in a row. They're due to win.
Yeah.
Statistically, from what I gathered from older, wiser sports bettors, is if something like somebody will say, hey, Marquez, he's due to lose, it's actually the opposite is true, that if a team's won 11 games in a row, they're not due to lose. They're probably
good.
They're probably going to win the 12th game.
So this is causation, not correlation, with Marquez on Fridays?
I would go with him. I would go with Marquez.
I wouldn't mess with it.
And you might as well take the run line. I mean, they win by an average
of course,
of 5 runs.
It screwed me betting the under last night.
Yeah.
I was playing the trend there, and I got burned on
it wasn't
that one.
10-0 though. So
That's true. It wasn't that.
And I get these from his name's Ralph Michaels on Twitter.
Okay.
At Cal Sports LV. Just want to shout him out because he puts out interesting stuff every single day.
Okay.
And this was the Pirates Orioles one that I teased earlier. So it's another Friday stat and about the Pirates. The Pirates are 1-14 on Fridays this season.
Oh boy!
And they've lost 13 straight Friday games.
You remember the season? Was it 2008 when the Orioles couldn't win on a Sunday?
Yeah.
I
don't remember the year.
I think it was 2008 because I think it was the year I moved back from Phoenix, and they could it.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And they were bad, so like you start with the fact that you're bad. But they could not win on a Sunday, and he always put out his Sunday lineup on top of it. It was like it's never going to happen.
But that's an interesting parlay, is taking
Herman Marquez,
taking the 10-0 team.
Let's have some fun with this, shall we? Let's just find out.
All right, I'll continue. I was also going to talk about
how much you would pay.
Yeah.
Last time the Pirates
parlay.
Last time the Pirates were in Camden Yards was June 2017. And the Orioles walked off on the Pirates.
So hang on, are we
That's
taking
the game Mancini hit the home run?
Yeah,
hit
2 home runs?
Yeah, 2 home runs.
That's right.
Hitting.
He hit in the bottom of the 9th with 2 out.
To tie
in the
it.
bottom of the 10th, I think, to win.
To tie it first.
Yes.
Right,
He hit the one in the bottom of the 9th, and then
then hit a 3-run.
Right, to win it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Entered
right.
the 9th inning trailing 6-2. The Orioles did.
Remarkable.
And they came back to
Are
win.
we betting the Orioles just to win outright, or are we betting?
Yes.
No, I'd like to bet a parlay.
No, but I'm saying.
Bet Orioles.
Yes, to win.
Or do we want to take the 1.5?
Nah, Orioles.
No, I like the Orioles to win.
Kramer on the mound.
Fair. All right, that's fair.
But a 2-team parlay.
And we're going to throw on now again.
Colorado.
Just an outright win.
Rockies run line. Rockies run line.
You want them on the run line.
Yeah.
No, I want them
Stan
to
wants
win.
them on the
They win
money.
by 5 every Friday.
No, I'm not going that far, but I'll go.
Marquez is on the mound.
Yeah.
Combining just wins. Just
win.
money line.
Just win,
Just
baby.
money line.
Didn't Al Davis say just win?
Gets us plus 246.
Right. On
And if
what size bet?
If we put a $20 bet, we can make $50.
All right.
We in?
It's $20.
$20 bet.
We're putting up 10 apiece.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I got to get to the FanDuel Sportsbook in order to make this bet. You know,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. That's where I will be going to make this bet.
Right.
We in on this?
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. Very good. Very good.
All right, so this leads me to my tidbit, which actually has nothing to do with this, but I was messing around on Baseball Savant yesterday, and they have a stat for average home run trot.
Okay. You're going to ask me who has the...
Yes, I will.
I have no idea.
Yes, you do. You can figure this out.
Stop it.
Average
With at
home
least
run
9
trot.
home runs this season, I want the top 10, or as many of the top 10 as you can
the
get.
slowest home run trots?
Yes. So that will exclude Alex Verdugo, who has only hit 6 home runs, but in those 6 home runs, an average of 29.7 seconds around the bases.
How about Manny Machado?
Manny Machado, no, not in the... Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. There you go. 8th.
How about
Manny
that?
Machado.
Look at that.
28 seconds around the bases for Manny.
28 seconds.
Look at that. Aaron Judge.
No, Aaron Judge, he picks up the pace.
I guess when you hit as many of them, you can't waste that much time.
How about just because he's popped into my head, how about Dan Vogelback?
No, not Dan Vogelback.
Okay.
How about Goldschmidt because he's old?
Nope. Nope.
Number one. I got to come up with something here.
Number one will be surprising. I think the others, I mean, when you think about it.
They're all I don't measure people's home run trots, Griffin.
Right.
They're all surprising.
Think
Why
about
don't you just
big
give them-
guys.
Big guys.
All right, this guy hit one last night for the Braves outfielder.
Braves outfield. Duvall?
No.
Duvall's out for the rest
Oh,
of
that's
the
right.
year.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
Ronald Acuna?
There you go. Acuna with his ninth
But
homer.
that
29
doesn't
seconds.
make sense. He's a fleet of foot dude. That doesn't make.
How about Luke Voigt?
He wants to enjoy it.
How about Luke
Oh,
Voigt?
that's a
No,
good
not
one.
Luke Voigt. You see, Vogelback is high up there, but he's not. top
Riley.
10. Riley?
Austin
Austin Riley,
Riley.
no.
Miguel Cabrera.
There's another Brave. There's another Brave on the list, though.
Miguel Cabrera.
Nope, not Cabrera. I don't think he's hit 9. Has he? No.
Oh, he has to have 9 home
Yeah.
runs.
Yes.
Olsen?
No, not Matt Olson.
All right. I'm gonna.
Marcelo Zuna is the other Brave I'm looking for.
Okay.
28 seconds around the bases. Juan Soto also takes 28 seconds around the bases. William Contreras. There's actually 3 Braves. Wow, the Braves really lollygagging around the bases here.
What the hell are they doing down there?
Rafael Devers, 28.5 seconds.
I should have gotten him.
Yeah.
Jesus Sanchez in Miami,
Okay.
28.9, and Vladdy also takes his time.
Okay. Actually, that doesn't surprise
28.9,
me all that.
and number 9 Jorge Soler, and number 10 Anthony Santander.
Santander's in the top
27.
10.
Yes,
Okay.
27.6.
Who's got the quickest? Do we know that?
I'll see if I can. Sam Haggerty's.
It's
only
got to
hit-
be a rookie, right?
Sam
'Cause
Haggerty's hit 3, and it takes him 17 seconds. Stevie Kwan has hit 2.
Yeah, rookie.
All right, here we go.
Uh-huh.
10. Brandon Nimmo, he's hit 10. He goes 19 seconds. Brett Phillips.
There you go. There you go. That's the reason why you needed him in Baltimore.
Yeah.
You got to get his fast home run trot. That was a weird. That was a very weird tidbit, bud.
Oh,
That
Corey,
was a
Corey
really-
Seager's hit 24, and he's
Okay.
22nd trot.
I know this was interesting to you, but maybe not the best trivia. Maybe
Okay.
just
Well, I
too-
had good tidbits before.
too,
though.
yes, those were good. I agree with that. This is a little bit too obscure. A little bit too much.
All right.
Tubular for the weekend. As Stan, the pitching matchups this weekend. You want to remind me for
Pitching matchup tonight is Kramer versus Keller, Mitch Keller, and that game is at 7:05.
Yes.
Correct. Tomorrow's game, by the way, remember, folks, if you're planning to go tomorrow.
By the way, tonight is on Masson. The other two are on Masson too.
Okay. But tonight's game is at 7:05. Tomorrow's game, because of the concert afterwards, is 5 o'clock, and that will be Brubaker versus Voth. Austin Voth. What's Brubaker's first name?
JT.
JT Brubaker. And then Wilson, Bryce Wilson,
Yes.
I think it is,
Yes.
versus Spencer Watkins on Sunday. And that will be at 1:35?
Yes, correct. And again, tonight is on Masson because the Nationals are on Apple tonight. Okay. So the rest of the weekend they're on Masson too. The Premier League is back. If that's something for you, USA this afternoon for Crystal Palace and Arsenal at 3 o'clock. Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse continues out at the USA Lacrosse Complex in Sparks tomorrow and Sunday. The Football Hall of Fame ceremony is tomorrow. They're doing it not in prime time, I think, just because the class is kind of meh. You know, there's not really like a huge headliner. In fact, I think I saw that Dick Vermeil will speak last at the Hall of Fame ceremony, but it's tomorrow at noon.
He will be talkative.
Yes, and will be emotional for sure. I like Dick Vermeil a lot. Big fan of Dick Vermeil, but there's just not a big headliner in this year's class.
That story about what he did for Leonard Toews when Toews was bankrupt and basically didn't have a penny to his name. Dick Vermeil, and Leonard Toews was the guy who owned the Eagles and hired Dick Vermeil. When he was down and out in late 80s, I think, early 90s, he'd gambled all his money away. Dick Vermeil paid for his life, essentially, for, I think it was like 3, 4, 5 years.
I believe that's correct. I do remember hearing that story, and he is a special man. There's no question about that. But that's tomorrow at noon on both ESPN and NFL Network. Everything else you can find at glennclarkradio.com. Anything non-sports-wise that stands out?
Well, of course, the PFL playoffs on ESPN tonight.
Okay, fine.
Need
Yes.
to watch those for Anthony
Fine.
Pettis.
Right.
A couple movies. All right, so the big one, I think, is Hulu, Prey, the
I have
Predator
seen a
movie.
lot. I have seen a lot about that.
That looks kind of
yes.
cool.
Yes.
So on Peacock, stick with me here. So Kevin Bacon runs an LGBTQ plus conversion camp.
And what is
And
it called?
It's called I'll get to it. Hold on. So it's a camp, and then of course there's a serial killer out there who's just killing everyone.
What?
Yeah. And so it's a slasher film, so they call it They/Them.
And Kevin Bacon is
Kevin
in
Bacon is
I gotta be honest with you. That sounds like the type of thing that they would have done in 30 Rock. Like, I swear to God, it sounds like a scene from 30 Rock where they're like, we're doing a slasher film with Kevin Bacon and he's at a conversion camp. What's it called? They/Them. Like, that would be the punchline for a 30 Rock joke.
Very good.
God, that's bad.
Yeah, it's a real
Did
movie.
you see The Gray Man yet?
I haven't. I still haven't seen it yet. I got caught up on Better Call Saul this week.
Yeah,
that was how I spent.
It's a great show.
Yeah. Anything?
That's about it. Netflix has a new series called The Sandman. Looks pretty crazy. I watched the trailer. I have no idea what it could possibly be about.
Okay.
But
all right.
it looks interesting.
Big
I don't know.
push.
Yeah.
Big push.
But it's a new series.
Very good.
I think the Sandman controls your dreams essentially,
all right.
and
Well,
that was my
The
takeaway.
best show anybody can watch on Netflix
Is the
Mr. In Between.
Oh, you told me about that one. I haven't watched the DB Cooper one. I need to watch that one.
Yeah, that's
I need,
pretty entertaining.
I need
It's a
to
documentary.
I need to watch that.
And on Disney Plus, the Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation Special.
Okay. Yeah, I never missed that.
Check it out.
At Stan the Fan on Twitter is how you follow him. Stan the Fan, appreciate you. Thank you for coming in and joining us this morning.
Glenn.
Thanks also to Dave Cottle. Thanks to Mike Devereaux. And thanks, of course, to Jorge Lopez. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. On Monday's show, Daryl Hill's going to join us, also part of this year's Maryland State Athletics Hall of Fame class. And Austin Hayes is scheduled to join us on Monday. Both the Orioles Heart and Hustle Award recipient, and he announced a new scholarship program that he has started, and we want to shine some light on that because I think that's a wonderful thing as he tries to sort of entrench himself in this community. It's very
He and his wife.
Yes,
That's
and it's very specifically for a student in the state of Maryland. So I like everything
That's
about
really a
that.
great,
Want to shine
great
some light
thing,
on
yep.
that. All right. Don't forget tomorrow morning, the Bat Around, as Paul and Zach will be talking baseball. Stan will be chiming in with them then, 10 to noon in the same locations. And Reed and I on Sunday afternoon, 1 to 4 on The Fan. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, Acosta Inn, Great 8's Memorabilia, FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Visit Howard County, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Thanks to Ryan at RexSpecs Ryan. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great weekend. Go Birds. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too.